Hey guys, this is Courtney from Willow's Bloom, and today we're going to be talking about the full moon in Aquarius happening on August 22nd at 29 degrees of Aquarius, which is very exciting because that is a critical degree in astrology, which means it has a lot more energy, a lot more potency, and signifies something specific, which I'm going to get into in a second. Before I get into this video, I do want to mention that in the timestamps below, you will find all of your rising signs, and you should look at your rising sign first and then your sun sign second. Somebody asked me a question in the comments, why do we use our rising sign to determine these videos, to listen to these transit videos? And that's because the rising sign is going to set the house placement. So it's going to be the start of the first house. So whatever sign starts the first house will determine where the planets fall in your chart. So that might be kind of hard to understand without a visual, but the sun can be placed anywhere in the chart. And it's really the houses that have some of the most meaning in terms of how it's going to affect your life. So the energy is universal for all of us, but then it's how it falls into, which house it falls into that affects you specifically, and then how it interacts with your planets that it gets really personalized. So if you guys are interested in learning how to understand that for yourself, how to read your own chart, how to see how it's interacting with you, then I recommend checking out my membership, the North Node Society, which I'll link down below. Every week we have a Zoom call, pretty much every week. And we hop on and we talk about really fun stuff like psychology and astrology. And right now I'm doing a whole series on each of the planets and what they mean in each sign and each house. And it's super cheap and fun to join. So it's again down below in the description box. And I hope to see you guys there. Okay, so let's talk about what is going on with this full moon. I first want to kind of backtrack a little bit and talk about the fact that this is the second full moon in Aquarius that we're having. So this only can happen when it's starting at like the very beginning of Aquarius and ending at the very end of Aquarius. That's the only way you can really have the same moon in the same sign. It has to, yeah, so the last moon started at 1 degree of Aquarius, and there's only 30 degrees of each sign. And then this one's starting at 29 degrees of Aquarius. So it's at the very beginning, at the very end. And that does symbolize something because in July, we were, I think, trying to up level in a way. That's what I was talking about. We're trying to become ourselves 2.0. And it was an interesting time though, because we had Pluto conjunct the moon. So it was kind of a lot of pushback, a lot of us needing to break from old habits, old patterns, maybe kind of rid ourselves from people that are not maybe necessarily helping us move into this new chapter, or anything in our life that really was holding us back. Now with this moon at the 29th degree, that has a similar energy of purging, because any planet, if you have a planet at 29 degrees in your chart, is sort of karmic in the sense that you have spent many lifetimes working through that planet in that sign and dealing with those specific issues. And then once you get to 29 degrees, like this moon is, it's the last of it. It's the final lesson before you move on to a completely new chapter. And so to me, this is kind of wrapping up some storyline that was going on back in July with even the Cancer new moon and the Aquarius full moon, of us trying to let go of emotional baggage, step into this new life, but having a little bit of pushback. And now we're kind of wrapping up all the loose ends with that so that we can truly move into a new chapter. One with more confidence, one with more optimism, one with more success. Of course, it doesn't mean that everything is going to be perfect from here on out. There is always going to be some degree of challenge in what we're doing, but it feels much more positive in this moon because it is conjunct Jupiter. So the last moon in Aquarius was conjunct Pluto, which has a very intense energy. It can bring about a lot of change, and often change through uncomfortable situations, change by applying pressure. And I guess kind of forcing our hand in a sense to step up. Jupiter is a different kind of change. It's the blessings, it's the opportunities that you want to act on, that you're excited about, that you feel like you're growing from. Both situations you're growing, but one you're excited about it and the other feels daunting. So we're kind of moving into this newer chapter where change is starting to feel like it's coming from within, like opportunities are coming to us, and it's starting to have a little bit more ease, a little bit more flow, and allowing this new chapter to feel like it's a gift for all the past efforts that we have put into things. So The only thing I want to say though with the moon is conjunct Jupiter, which means that since it's a full moon, the sun is going to be opposite the moon, lighting it up, which means that Jupiter is also opposite the sun. So essentially, that's just saying that there can sometimes be an over optimism that comes with this, a little bit of an idealism. So, whatever situation, wherever this is falling in your chart, which you'll see coming up in the signs videos, but you might be a little bit more prone to that optimism, which is good, but sometimes when it's overly so, it's a little bit challenging. So just be careful about indulging in things or being like too optimistic about things. Also, because we're gonna have Mercury opposite Neptune at this time as well, and Mercury opposite Neptune creates a lack of clarity and makes us again see things in the way that we want to see them and not necessarily see them in a plain and clear way. It can challenge our sense of reality, because we're living with rose-colored glasses. So this is going to be the Mercury opposite Neptune that's occurring along with this moon is going to be at 4 degrees and applying, which basically means that it's not quite like exact, but Mercury is moving into an opposition with Neptune. So it's going to actually, like, that energy is actually going to be even more prominent after the full moon ends. So if you notice that like you're lacking clarity at, towards the end of August, like that last week, I would say, just know that that's normal. Like, try not to make really big life decisions during that time. And if things feel really good, allow them to feel good. Like, enjoy the wave, enjoy the ride, but also just know that you might be in more of an idealistic space and not to make, big life changing decisions based off of that. So whenever the moon is conjunct Jupiter, like at this time, this is collectively going to be a wonderful opportunity for us to move into a sphere of personal growth that is often related to learning something new, studying under somebody. This, if you're looking to find a teacher, now is a really great opportunity to do so. The energy is pushing that forward. If you want to become a teacher, that's really normal as well. That's really positive for this time. If you want to travel abroad, learn a different language, anything where you feel like you're kind of pushing your boundaries and observing or taking in information from new and different sources that can help you, I guess, challenge your current perspective, your current beliefs, and widen your horizon. So all of those things are really positive at this time. So if you're thinking about any of those things, this is kind of like the green light to go ahead and do that. Another aspect of this is that it is a full moon. So oftentimes we will see some kind of like results at this time. It's not just about starting something new. It's about getting some results from past actions. So you might find that things related to that start to bear more fruit. So if you have been teaching, you maybe get more students. If you have been learning something, you'll find that you're starting to gain traction. You're starting to gain more wisdom and understanding in that subject. If you're trying to work on certain habits about yourself, you'll find that maybe things are starting to pick up and you're feeling like you have this stable consistency that you haven't had before. It's just a little bit more results oriented than a new moon would be. At this time, we also have Mercury conjunct Mars in Virgo. This is 3 degrees separating, which means this energy was building up. We're going to feel it up most intensely before this moon, and then during the moon and after it's kind of dissipating. So these planets together are making a trine with Uranus. So this is very interesting. It's kind of like I just had the word like static electricity come into my mind, but that's like the feeling. I don't know about static, but definitely electricity. With Mercury, there's like a quickness. With Mars, there's a quickness. With Uranus, there's a quickness. All of them have a lot of adaptability, a lot of desire for change, to disrupt, to take action. Mercury conjunct Mars is our mindset, being determined to finally take action on things that we have planned or have thought about in July. So if you have been kind of mulling something over, or again, if you've been trying to level up and try new habits or try new things, learn new things, this is us being determined, being kind of like anxious to get started, anxious to get going, to put our money where our mouth is and actually do the things that we've been thinking about and talking about. And with the trine to Uranus, this is saying that we're being positively supported to make any changes. If you've been really stuck in a rut with some old habits or some old ways of thinking, or you've been stuck in a rut by I don't know, not knowing enough or not doing enough about something in your life, this trine with Uranus is kind of like water that is clearing any debris from a path and allowing you to just walk straight ahead. So it's basically giving you the go ahead to make those shifts, make those changes, and release any stuck energy that could have been preventing you from making them, even though you've been wanting to make them in July. I think, especially around that Cancer new moon, it was like we wanted to make these changes, but it really, we weren't emotionally ready for it yet. We weren't, the doors weren't quite open yet. And I feel like this is saying that after that first Aquarius full moon, we started to make some headway, and now we're really starting to see some progress. So if you guys have any kind of important communication at this time, just be a little bit more careful about people, about talking about certain things, because with Mercury conjunct Mars, people can be a little bit brash in their communication. They can be like a little bit more of a dick, I'm not gonna lie. So if you have something important to communicate, maybe don't really bring it up before this full moon, the couple days before and during. Just wait to not have it that week, because with that trine to Uranus, you can have kind of unexpected news coming up that might be, depending on how Mars feels for you, but it could sometimes be a little bit triggering. It could lead to frustration. It could lead to fights. Those are possibilities. It is intense energy, and that energy can manifest in a lot of different ways. Just because you have a lot of intense energy doesn't necessarily make it negative or mean it's going to be, but that energy can be applied in a negative way. So just avoid, conflict at that time, because it's not necessarily going to have the most peaceful resolution, let's just say. And then also with Mercury opposite Neptune around that time, it's like, even if you can communicate, it's like you might not really be able to fully understand the other person. You might just end up kind of being frustrated. So again, avoid important communication topics at this time. We're also going to have Venus and Libra making a trine to Saturn and a trine to the North Node. So these are making a grand trine. So we've got Venus, Saturn, and the North Node all in these apexes, I guess. So this is really beautiful. This is going to, I think, help mitigate the kind of frustrating social energy that could come with Mercury conjunct Mars, because this is a grand air trine, meaning that all of these planets or aspects are in an air sign. So they're all communicating with each other in a really strong way. The energy is flowing, which sometimes can lead to an overflow. But I do think that this is going to be really positive. It's going to make us I think much more social at this time, because Venus is involved. It's also going to help us take what we truly value about life and about ourselves and apply it in a practical way to help us move forward towards our vision, towards our future, towards progress, which is the North Node. So Venus is what we value. Venus is what we want to be like. It's like these qualities of ourselves that we're trying to cultivate, that maybe we were stumbling a little bit more with in July, are coming more naturally to us with this trine to Saturn. Saturn creates a level of stickiness or consistency to our desires. So it basically materializes it in this world and helps us keep going with it. And then the North Node is saying that all of the things that we're doing that are materializing and we're putting out there are actually moving us forward. It's not just because we want to do them, and it's something that's meant to be. It's something that's very purposeful, and it's something that's going to help us move into a new chapter by developing these new habits or living according to our value systems, I should say. We might also be doing better at this time around like logical things and communication than we would have if this aspect wasn't going on. Mercury is still like a little bit challenged, so I would say, again, avoid big topics, but this is going to help ease the situation. Lastly, we have Chiron opposite Venus. So this can be, for some people, if this is triggering a planet in your birth chart, this can indicate, some kind of pain around relationships or around self-worth or even around money, where you start to feel triggered from past events, oftentimes from childhood or even past relationships. The old things can come up to the surface, things to be healed, things to be worked through, but with the opposition, it can feel like they're not being healed easily, or in your pursuit of the things that you value, in the pursuit of trying to live according to your value system, you might still have these like inner dialogues kind of come up and try to sabotage you or tear you down or make you feel bad or make you feel insecure. I think that's often what Chiron represents, is some form of complex insecurity that's been woven into the fabric of our DNA through many lifetimes of traumatic events surrounding some particular issue. And so sometimes it's not even in this lifetime where we've experienced that issue, but we still feel the reverberations of it, and it can still hold us back and it can still affect us. So with this opposition with Venus, it might kind of feel like we're trying to take these steps forward, but some of those like inherent wounds can still come up at this time and just ask to be recognized and ask to be seen. And since it is a critical degree, this full moon, since it is 29 degrees, this could be a really beautiful time to actually feel like we are taking steps in the right direction, even though we feel like we have insecurities, even though we're not totally sure about ourselves. We're still moving forward. We're still taking those last steps and finishing up this last part of this chapter so that we can move on to a new one and to new lessons. So there could be some degree of uncomfortability with this opposition with Chiron, is essentially what I'm trying to say. It can sensitize us, and it can ask us to create new patterns, new emotional patterns, especially in relationships and relationships with ourselves. Okay, so now let's get into the breakdown for each of the signs. So up first we have Aries Rising. So for you guys, this full moon that's happening is occurring the moon is occurring in your 11th house, which means that the sun is in your 5th house. And again, Jupiter is going to be with the moon in the 11th house. So I hope this isn't one of those days where I'm shuffling and no cards want to come out. Let's start with this deck. Maybe that's why. There we go. All right, so Aries Rising. So as I mentioned, this full moon in Aquarius is happening in your 11th house of friendship, conjunct Jupiter. You guys have had Saturn moving through here for some time, challenging you to become more responsible in the terms of your friendships, how you show up to your relationships, how you connect with different people, and also how you utilize these connections to help move you forward in your career, financially, socially, in some aspect of your life where you feel like you can get ahead a little bit more than you are. So with this conjunction with Jupiter, I feel like you guys could be having this feeling of true emotional fulfillment in relationships. I feel like this is giving you guys a blessing after a feeling of lack. And I think that's why the first card I pulled was scarcity mentality. And then it was immediately followed by the 9 of Pentacles, which is ultimate abundance. There is one more pentacle. You could have the 10 of Pentacles. So there is still potential for more growth and more opportunity. But what I'm seeing here is that you guys have probably felt like you have been either disconnected or haven't had enough people around you, haven't had enough support system, or you need more, you need just more support to help you get to some aspect, this next level of your life, or just friendships to move through life. And I feel like that scarcity that can come from Saturn is kind of slowly being rebuilt, and you're starting to feel like you have something tangible. You have a friend group. You're starting to have people visit you, or that you're going on trips with people, and you're making connections that are either helping you up level, or they are at least giving you emotional fulfillment. There's some sense of abundance and stability coming in through your relationships that you really haven't been fully experiencing up until this point. It might have been just a little bit harder. And I think that any effort that you've put into that area of your life, which Saturn requires effort, is basically paying off, because Saturn is a karmic planet that pays its debts. So if you're putting that effort, if you're doing what he's been tasking you with, which you are, then you're going to start feeling more of a sense of abundance. And I also pulled these cards, love and leadership, and that feels really beautiful. Especially, let's talk about this love card. I feel like this is the abundance that you're experiencing, is a sense of satisfaction and love from your relationships that maybe you haven't experienced to, the fullest extent in a while. And so it just feels like social support, essentially. You guys also have Mercury conjunct Mars and Virgo in your sixth house, and this is trining Uranus in your second house. So I do kind of have the feeling, given like I think your last reading, that there could be some sense of dissatisfaction from your job or some kind of like desire for change. I don't know if you're still experiencing that at this time or not, but with Mercury conjunct Mars here, there is some kind of like spurt of activity or energy surrounding your job. So it doesn't just have to be your job, it could also be your health, or even just like how your daily routine. So, like the time that you get up, your habits, all those kind of things involved in how you take care of yourself. There is energy in this area, in this pocket of your life. And because of the trine to Uranus, it's saying that there is likely some change coming in, some possible realizations, some drive and ambition to make shifts. So whether that's making shifts to your career, to your health, to your routines, this is saying, this is kind of like a continued thread, because I think I talked about that in a reading before for you. This is a continued thread basically saying that that is supported at this time, and any changes you want to make are going to be in your benefit or your best interest. However, Mercury is also opposite Neptune, so you might not have total clarity about what those changes are going to be yet. You might feel like you sense this desire for change. You sense some internal friction against your current reality and where you want to be, but you might not have total clarity about where you want to be. You can often realize like, oh, I don't really like my job, but not really know what you need to fix. Or I don't like my day to day. Something needs to give, but I'm not sure what that thing is, what that thing needs to give is. And so just have more patience with yourself, because I think you'll have a lot of the ambition and the drive to make change, but not total clarity around it. So just listen to your intuition in terms of, what you want to do day to day, and don't make any impulsive decisions when there's this lack of clarity with the opposition with Neptune. And I think that's why I pulled the She Who Hesitates card, which says ponder, delay, and confidence. And to me, this is saying to not make any rash decisions, to ponder, to think about what you want, to use your intuition to kind of feel that out, and then allow yourself to kind of sit with that for a second until you feel confident in the decision that you want to make moving forward. There's no rush. I guess that's what I'm saying here. So there's no rush. And I feel like this is really positive. I think I pulled the She Who Persists cards, perspective, defiant, and persistent. To me, this is saying that there is something that wants to make a change, and this feeling isn't just going to go away. I feel like that's part of what that persistent means, is like, this is an issue that's going to remain, and there's no rush. You can fix it with just enough effort over time. I think that persistence, that consistency that Saturn is going to give us in this situation is here to help you make any like long-term changes to that area of your life. But again, there's no rush. That issue is still going to be there. So yeah, I guess that's what I want to say. Okay, you guys also have Venus and Libra in the 7th house, opposing Chiron in the 1st house. So this can kind of bring up, I feel like Chiron in the 1st house is, wherever Chiron is transiting, it brings sensitivity to the area of our life. And in the 1st house, there is kind of like sensitivity around our sense of self and our independence and our leadership abilities and our confidence and owning who we truly are. Having it move through your 1st house is a really transformative event. It's very, 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 very slow, so it's going to be here for a hot second. But I feel like there can sometimes be things that come up in your relationships with people that can push on that sensitivity around your confidence and your leadership and things like that. So maybe there are people in your life who challenge your ideas, or who, I don't know, like I just feel like you guys might encounter sometimes things that are here to help you grow in terms of your leadership. And I think that's probably why I pulled this card. So you might find that that becomes an area of sensitivity. You know, you kind of taking the lead over your life, making decisions about things, and maybe some people are like no, or they don't support you, or they like challenge you in some ways, or you don't know how people are going to react. Like that kind of energy is possible with this opposition. However, we also have Venus in a trine with the North Node, which is in your third house, and with Saturn, which is in your 11th house. So I feel like ultimately the relationships that you're calling in are probably helping you step up more into a leadership position, and they're doing it sometimes through a little bit of pushback, but ultimately those same people are going to be and your new friendships that you have coming in are going to be one of the biggest propellers to helping you achieve this next chapter in your life, to helping you like whatever things that you want to change and up level. It's actually the relationships that are going to help you do so, even though it might feel like they're also challenging you. With this trine, it's saying, no, those people are here to push you into your leadership. They're here to push you into your voice, into your power, into your inner knowing. And that's what's going to help you kind of open up into these new ideas and these new chapters in the future. I think that's maybe why I also pulled this villain card, which says you can always rewrite the story. I kind of feel like we can we vilify them. We think that they're, a problem and the source of our issues. And what I've come to realize is that sometimes the souls that come here and decide to be, villains in our life or push back against us, they come here for a very specific purpose. They're here to challenge us so that we are able to grow into our sense of power through adversity. And we can't just always have people on our team cheerleading for us, telling us how amazing we are. We have to have people who push us. And so some of your friends or some people in your life might be that person, but you're also going to have really supportive people, or might even be the same people who both push and support you at this time. I also pulled the spaceship card, which says don't be afraid to sing. And I feel like this is you not being afraid to speak your mind, because singing, I think, is about a certain amount of self-expression. And then also because the sun is transiting through your 5th house, I feel like there is this sense of playfulness, of fun, of artistic endeavors really being highlighted at this time. And it's saying don't be afraid to sing, don't be afraid to relax and to enjoy yourself and be playful, and also to be different and to speak your needs and to say what you want in a situation. I feel like all those things are messages coming from that card. So that's what I see for you guys, Aries Rising. If you're interested in learning about astrology, then you guys might want to join the North Node Society. You can check out more information in the description box below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Taurus Rising. So for you guys, this full moon in Aquarius is occurring in your 10th house, which means that the sun is going to be lighting up the moon in your 4th house of home and family. So you've probably been feeling during this Leo season like you're getting more information about your emotional state, or you've been having a highlight or an emphasis on your physical home or your family or your sense of emotional and financial security. With the moon opposite it in the 10th house, this is a focus on career, and I definitely am seeing some things coming in for you in terms of career. I feel like what I saw with the past group was the first card I pulled was what they were feeling before, and the second card I pulled was what they were starting to get as a blessing from this moon. And I definitely feel like that's what's happening with Jupiter being involved and conjunct this moon in your 10th house. There is a blessing coming through. There is something that we've been wanting, that we've been working towards, that you're start to see play out for you in a really positive way. And that means it's going to be in your career. And I did pull some cards specifically around financial security. And so anytime we have success happening in our career, that definitely brings more of a sense of security financially. So whether that's getting a raise or some kind of promotion, or if you have a business and getting more clients, or getting some type of recognition, anything where it feels like you're having some type of achievement and recognition from a higher status person, like a manager or things like that, or clients or the outside world, like the public. The first card that I pulled was the Four of Pentacles, which is kind of about this feeling of really holding on to the things that we own because we're scared that we're not going to have enough. And so you might have been feeling up to this mood that maybe you don't have enough, or maybe you want more, like you're putting energy out and you're not getting it all back. Wherever Saturn is transiting in our chart, which for you is in the 10th house, it can feel like that. It can feel like we are accumulating some kind of debt, karmic debt, where we need to be paid back for the effort that we're putting out. So imagine Saturn moving through your house is kind of like a friend that keeps coming over and asking you for favors. And it's like you kind of keep getting, you essentially, they start to owe you in a sense. And not that your friends, you always, it doesn't have to be tit for tat with your friends where you have to pay them all back, but there is that feeling energetically where you're giving a lot out and you kind of at some point expect in some form of your life for that to be returned back to you. And so that's what I'm getting here, is that you guys have been giving out a lot in terms of your career and whatever you've been working on that might be in the public eye, and now it's time to get a little bit of that back. And I think that's why I pulled the Seven of Pentacles, which says achievement. I feel like you guys are making headway. You are getting some kind of sign that you are on the right path, that this achievement card is saying that you're getting some kind of recognition or small win. But since it is a Seven of Pentacles, what is at the core of the Seven of Pentacles? It's that endurance that comes with the Strength card. It's this feeling that you, in the original tarot, it's a plant growing. So it's a feeling that like you're putting effort into something diligently, and it's long term. And so that's what I'm trying to say, is that even though I do see some things coming through for you in terms of getting recognition, at this full moon, I also feel like it's saying that this is just the beginning. You're just scratching the surface and you have so much more that you're building upon. And I think that's why I also pulled the Strength card, because this to me is saying don't give up. Saturn is still here testing you. Saturn is still here trying to harden you up in your career and give you lessons to learn, especially around patience, and around getting results a little bit more delayed and doing things because we love to do them, and all of those things wrapped up in building something very long term, very concrete in our lives. You guys also have Mercury conjunct Mars and Virgo in the 5th house, and this is trining Uranus in the 1st house. So you guys might be feeling like you're having some more like exciting hobbies or interests that you're starting up. You guys might be feeling a lot more social, a lot more lively. You might be feeling a lot more confident with these planets moving through your 5th house. It's like this is your time to shine. This is your time to be seen, to be witnessed. And with this trine to Uranus in the 1st house, I feel like this is saying that other people or the world or yourself or whoever is starting to kind of recognize the shifts that you've been making as a person, the changes that you've been putting into your life, the effort that you've been putting in to try to up level. It's like those things are starting to give you more confidence. They're starting to bear fruit in terms of your self-satisfaction. And you might feel like because you're more confident, you're more creative, and you're having more fun, and you're more social. Like all those things are kind of building on top of one another. Mercury, though, is also opposing Neptune in the 11th house. So sometimes this can mean like a lack of clarity around our future goals, or this can be difficulty in communication with our friendships where we're not quite on the same page as other people. So in terms of like trying to get really concrete ideas across at this time, it's probably better to wait, especially in terms of like long-term planning or just trying to talk about specific issues with friends. It is interesting though, because I did pull a card that says she who prepares formulate, strategize, and devise. So I definitely feel like you're being asked to do this, but maybe not quite at this full moon because of this opposition. So maybe wait until more September time to fully start planning what's in the future for you. But I feel like this is saying that this is kind of going along with the strength card, the achievement card, the Seven Pentacles, I mean, which is basically telling you that you're building something long term, so you have to strategize about each step that you're taking. You have to have a plan for how you're building it. You wouldn't just go and make a house and that's it. Like, as a Taurus, you know that things take time, and you know that good things are well prepared and are slow brewing or slow cooking, and have a plan from the beginning, have all the right ingredients. And so what this is saying is to make sure that you are planning to make sure that you are doing that, but preferably after this full moon in September, when Mercury is no longer opposite Neptune, and there will be more clarity about those long-term goals. You guys also have Venus and Libra in the 6th house, and it's opposing Chiron in the 12th house. So Venus and Libra in the 6th house is like us feeling much more confident about our productivity, us feeling like our daily decisions are in alignment with our value systems. But with the opposition with Chiron, there could be some still self-sabotaging elements where there are either things from the past coming up that kind of derail you, or there could be, yeah, I feel like emotional baggage that has kind of been unresolved can kind of come up and come out as self-sabotage, and that can sometimes be preventative of us having full success in our productivity. But I feel like that's ultimately going to be challenged and overcome because of this grand air trine between Venus in the 6th house, making a trine to Saturn in the 10th house, and a trine to the North Node and Gemini in the 2nd house. I feel like you guys are gaining a stronger sense of consistency through your self-confidence, which is, I feel like, the North Node and Gemini in the 2nd house. You're starting to gain some, maybe a little bit of traction with the 7 of Pentacles, and that's helping you gain more confidence, which is helping you become more consistent in these habits and these routines and this productivity in your life. And with the trine with Saturn in the 10th house, it's specifically, I feel like, career productivity that's coming through. And that's also why I pulled this pumpkin card that says productivity. So I get the vibe that you guys are growing in confidence, and you're being asked to continue on this path of building whatever you're working on, because it's going to last the test of time. Just make sure you're prepared, and make sure that you don't let these things from the past kind of derail your productivity, and recognize that you are getting green lights right now from the universe. So just keep going, and don't give up. So that's what I see for you guys, Taurus Rising. If this resonates, please like and comment down below. If you're interested in learning about astrology, if you want to see a whole astrology course, then go check out the North Node Society membership. The link is in the description box below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Gemini Rising. So this, for you guys, this full moon in Aquarius is happening in your 9th house. And that means that the sun is transiting through your 3rd house, opposing the moon. Whenever the sun is transiting through the 3rd house, I feel like a lot of times people will have a lot of busyness, a lot of things going on their schedule, as the British people say. It can be a little bit more of like an active time in terms of their social life as well. They're communicating with others, connecting with others. Maybe you find that you're just, I mean, it's summertime, at least where I'm living. So maybe you find that it's just this kind of exciting, energized time. And then the moon is making a conjunction with Jupiter in the 9th house. So to me, this is telling me that you're going to have some kind of blessing in terms of shifting your beliefs in a positive way, or shifting your perspective, or gaining new knowledge or new information, which is going to help you gain confidence in yourself. I do feel like it's an offering about, believing things about yourself in a different way, seeing yourself in a different perspective as you get new information. The sun moving to the 3rd house triggers the mental activity. It triggers communication. So we start to gather information, and then the sun is sharing that wisdom with the moon. And with Jupiter there are opportunities coming in from the external world that is going to tap into or take advantage of or align with that new knowledge that you just gained from the sun moving through your 3rd house. So to me, this is like, if you see, for example, if you want to start seeing yourself as like, for example, for me, like, I want to see myself as more of an entrepreneur, as more successful, I should say. So if I get like a few more people giving me really positive reviews, or more people purchasing readings from me and me communicating with them, and seeing how much I've grown and learned, then basically what comes out of that is that I start to feel more confident. I start to feel like I can start to see myself as more successful because of this new information plus opportunities. So that's really what I'm getting for you guys is this shift, and an ability to start. Yeah, I feel like this is speaking directly to me, honestly. This could have to do with relationships because I pulled the Lovers card, or it could be decisions. But I feel like for a lot of us, it could be something to do with relationship, where you have to unlearn, where you are unlearning aspects of relationships that you've maybe ingrained in yourself. And so this is having like a perspective shift, a mind opening, and optimism towards new partnerships. And if it is something to do with like the duality, which is actually your card, it doesn't just have to be relationships. Like this Lovers card is the Gemini card. So this could be anything within you where you feel like there are maybe two sides of yourself, this duality occurring, where there's one side who really wants to believe that you're, for example, a successful person. But then there's this other part that's like, well, look at this data. I haven't had as much success or money or views or whatever that I would like. So I'm not that person. I'm going to view myself this way. I feel like the gift of this moon is actually helping you unlearn those thought patterns, to start to believe things in a different way based off of some, again, information and opportunities that are going to come in that will help shift that perspective, so that you're less of a Gemini in the sense that you're not going to have these two poles pushing against each other, or pulling apart. You're going to have the energy more flowing in one direction. So yeah, instead of having a side of me that thinks I'm successful and a side that doesn't, I'll start to see more evidence to sway it to the successful side, and then I'll start to believe that more. So that's kind of what I'm seeing, is like, if you want to believe or think something different about yourself or your life, this moon is going to give you some opportunities and information to help you do that. Okay, you guys, I just finished pulling the cards for Gemini, and I feel personally attacked by what I'm seeing right now. Like I feel like this message is directly to myself, essentially. So I am going to say the message that I see communicated to me, because maybe it's applicable to you as well. Maybe it's not. So I will offer an alternative explanation as I go on. I have been having trouble moving on from past trauma or past hurt in relationships. And I feel like I've really carried that very heavily in my heart. This is, I guess, Cheryl. I'm being very open with you guys. And so that's why I think I pulled the Lovers, an Unlearn card, where it's saying I need to unlearn some past behaviors or past thoughts, where I try to guard myself and protect myself from pain again because of these memories. And I literally pulled the card that says memory, you guys. Like, I don't know this. I just don't. It's just so clear. And I feel like I have been, this card says, she who aches, sadness, solitude, silent, and withdrawal. I feel like that has been my energy romantically for a long time now, for many months now. Because even though I'm excited to meet new people and go on dates and things, I have a lot of fear. And so I really withdraw. There is sadness there. There is pain there. There is hurt there, triggered from these memories. And I feel like what this is saying is it's time to forgive people from the past, because I literally pulled the forgive card. Forgive people in the past, like they were just doing the best they could. They weren't trying to hurt you. And it's saying to move on and to unlearn some of those patterns so that you can step into this, maybe a new romantic interest or a new relationship with someone without as much pain associated with it. And I'm going to just say that this goes for any kind of situation. It doesn't have to be romantic at all. Anything in your life where you feel like you've withdrawn and you've had pain and you're using that as kind of like a barrier or a wall for you not to move forward, or to not let things in, or to not progress in some area of your life because you're scared of getting hurt, you're scared of the past trauma. It's time to forgive yourself. It's time to forgive others and to let go of that emotional baggage, because if we can move forward and nurture ourselves, we can like even if we encounter any difficult situations like that, we still have ourselves. We can nurture ourselves, give ourselves empathy, gentleness, insight, compassion, everything that we need to move through difficult situations. So even if there is some things from the past that feel very heavy, if we can just love and nurture ourselves throughout this process, it doesn't have to be something that holds us back. Yeah. So let's talk about some other stuff I see. You guys have Mercury conjunct Mars in Virgo in the 4th house, trining Uranus in the 12th house. That makes so much sense. You guys, Mercury and Mars in the 4th house are stirring up your emotional nature, are stirring up things from childhood, from history, from the past, things that have ingrained in you, these emotional experiences that have ingrained in you. And I'm talking about trauma with a lowercase t. I heard someone explain this recently, that trauma, like everyone thinks that trauma is this like really big event that has to happen, but trauma is just any experience that went in a different direction than our expectations. So if you expect someone to show up and treat you a certain way and they don't, that can be traumatic. If you expect yourself to have a good time, to experience something specific, and that doesn't happen, that can be traumatic in its own way. And so I feel like what this is saying is that some of that stuff, some of those emotional experiences have embedded in you and are being carried forward. But with this trine with Uranus in the 12th house, is it saying that there is an ability to finally let some of that stuff go. Uranus helps liberate us, and the 12th house is the past, and the 4th house is childhood and the past. These are emotional experiences from the past that we're finally releasing the bondages of and stepping up into a new way. Into like a freer way of feeling. Mercury is also opposing Neptune in the 10th house right now. So it's also possible that we might still like not have full clarity about what those events were. Sometimes it's very clear, like, okay, this event caused this experience and that's why I feel this way. But oftentimes with these little t traumas, we don't actually recognize how traumatic they are because they're so little t, because they're so small and seemingly insignificant. But then if we really start to journal about it, we're like, that's actually really affected me, you know? And so I feel like this opposition with Neptune is like, you maybe won't be able to see all the little things and know how all of them are contributing to how you feel now. You might just feel how you feel and know that something is off, or something is kind of being held that is from the past that you can let go of. So I guess with the opposition with Neptune, it's like, it's not trying to figure it all out. It's just trusting that you can let go of the general feeling that you're experiencing in order to have a clean slate with somebody or with something in your life. You guys have Venus and Libra in the 5th house, opposing Chiron in the 11th. So some of those things I think are going to be around dating and relationships with this opposition. Some of those hurts, some of those pains. But Venus in the 5th is also making a trine to Saturn in the 9th and North Node in your 1st house. And to me, this is saying that you're going to be able to shift some of your beliefs, which is going to make you feel like a renewed person. It's going to help you step into your sense of self and your sense of confidence without letting the past kind of make you have like a bum leg. You know, it's like if we wore our emotions physically, it would be like walking around with a bum leg. And this is time to like release that so we can just walk normally, run normally, and go into that next chapter of our life believing that a lot is possible for us. So that's what I see for you guys, Gemini and Gemini Rising. I hope this resonates. If it does, please like and comment down below. If you're interested in learning about astrology, I have an entire astrology course for you guys to just kind of dip your toes in and understand your chart. It's very chill, and I think it is easy to understand, I hope. And that's all in the membership in the description box below, called the North Node Society, and I hope to see you there. Bye. All right, up next we have Cancer Rising. So for you guys, Cancer Rising, this full moon in Aquarius is happening in your 8th house, which means that the sun is currently transiting your 2nd house of self-confidence, of manifestation, which is actually this card right here. And it's illuminating the areas of your life in which you maybe can hold can have hold insecurities that can prevent you from manifesting as powerfully as you normally would. Yeah, so this moon has Jupiter conjunct it in your 8th house. So I love that. I feel like this is giving you kind of like a little cleanse from those insecurities, giving you an opportunity to grow and learn from them and not have them be a part of something that holds you back. I'm getting a lot of like playful, creative energy where you can start yeah, it doesn't feel as dense and heavy normally as like a full moon in the 8th house does. It feels like you're letting go some of that dense energy is what I'm getting from this. And it's feeling like you can start dabbling in stuff and you have more confidence in yourself in order to do so. It's less about getting it right the first time and just about enjoying it and using that joy as a fountain or a source of to pull from to manifest things, because emotion is energy and energy is what we use to create things in the world. And so I definitely feel like that's what's coming in strongly for you guys with these 2 cards here, is that now you're getting some more opportunities to start attracting beautiful things into your life, things that feel fun, things that feel exciting, and also could be stuff that is emotionally fulfilling for you, that you feel like you can invest emotionally in. Like you feel like you're ready to put your heart into something or someone. It could be a more vulnerable or intimate relationship with somebody, and having more confidence to do so and feeling like there's ease and flow in that dynamic with that person. So it could be that person or an event or something that you're starting to kind of dabble with or play with and enjoy your time with, and seeing how you can start manifesting positive results through that feeling of playfulness with that person or that situation. You guys also have Mercury conjunct Mars in Virgo in the 3rd house, and this, wow, a lot of cards just fell. And this is trining Uranus in the 11th house. Yeah, you guys, the next card that I pulled was luck. That's the feeling that I'm getting. I feel like you guys are getting some luck right now. You're getting things like things are starting to work out for you. Again, this heavy energy is starting to drop away. You have the manifestation card and the luck card, which means that you guys can start attracting and bringing in things through your inner power just by thinking about them. And I think that's probably why we have Mercury conjunct Mars in the 3rd house. Mercury and Mars are extremely magnetic kind of energies. It's our ability to use our mind and our drive and our energy to pull things in, to create things from ideas, from the air. And I think that that's what's happening with this trine with Uranus in the 11th house, is some of these things are starting to materialize that you are envisioning, that you're having ideas about. And these could be materializing through other people as well. That's a really big thing with the 11th house, is oftentimes our dreams coming to us through avenues of connections, which, I mean, everyone kind of has that to an extent, but some to more of a degree than others. And you know what the 8th house is also about? It's about receiving from other people's abundance. So like receiving from your spouse, receiving from inheritance. It's other people's money benefiting you, or other people's resources benefiting you. And with Mercury and Mars in the 3rd house, I feel like you guys are having ideas, imagination, excitement coming in through your thoughts and your plans. And with the trine to Uranus in the 11th house, it's saying other people are going to help give you resources or connections or some kind of link that you need in order to see these ideas into manifestation, in order to bring them to life. So this is your time to receive from other people, to utilize your luck, to utilize your connections, to ask for what you want, because you're going to start receiving. The next cards I pulled are about healing and grounding. That sounds really beautiful. I feel like you guys have had kind of a little bit of heavy energy. So I want to talk about that. Yeah. So, okay, you have Mercury in the 3rd house opposing Neptune in the 9th house. I feel like this is you having some ideas, but not really knowing. Again, it says playfulness. It's like not really knowing where they're leading you, not having a full like understanding of exactly what you want to come out of this long term. And that's totally okay. You guys also have Venus in Libra in the 4th house opposing Chiron in the 10th house. I feel like this is what this healing and grounding card is. this opposition can sometimes bring about, I honestly don't think this opposition is a big deal because of the trine I'm about to talk about, but it can bring up situations that can be somewhat emotionally triggering. And so it's kind of asking us to heal some of those things that are being triggered at this time. So if you do start to like receive and you feel uncomfortable and you feel like you're turning away from it, or you're not asking for help through your connections, it's time to heal some of that. It's time to heal some of your insecurities, or this fear around receiving, or this fear around being vulnerable with people, and allow yourself to trust that the universe is on your side. I think that's also part of the healing process, is realizing that while you're also really part of this earth, which I think that's what the grounding is about, is recognizing, your earthliness, your ability to utilize the physical world around you and create what you want to see, and feel really present in this. But at the same time, with the North Node in the 12th house, recognizing that you're not of this earth. Also, you're a soul, and you're supported by the universe. You're supported to seek your dreams, to go after what you want. I think that's very healing, is to have this ability to trust and to know that you're on the right path, even if there are speed bumps along that path. Even if you're not totally sure about where everything is going, you're getting support from the universe as a sign that you are supported through the spiritual realm as well. I hope that makes sense. Like, these people coming in, these connections, this luck that you're receiving, those things are the universe saying, we got your back. We're here behind the scenes, pushing for you, pulling for you. And I feel like I pulled this she who listens, understanding, witness, and compassion. I feel like this is other people witnessing you, having compassion for you. This could be your guides in other realms, or it could be your friends. It could be relationships where these people are hearing you, they're hearing your needs, and they want to be there to support you, and to give you that leg up through whatever avenue they have the ability to help with. I also pulled the Escapist card, which says, come home to yourself, an evil queen, you deserve sugar, not salt. I feel like this evil queen is your insecurities, like this part of you that's like wanting to give you salt instead of sugar, or this part of you that brings yourself down, or is critical about yourself, or insecure, and utilizing that as like that evil voice inside of your head saying you can't do something, you can't have something, you shouldn't, you don't deserve something. Like, don't listen to that side of yourself if you find that that's here at this time. And this Escapist card, come home to yourself, I feel like this is this grounding, this come home to yourself, Venus in the 4th house. All these things are really talking about feeling secure, safe at home in your physical body, in your home, in your relationships, in your emotional body. I feel like all these things are telling you to really make time for this process, whatever that entails for you, whether that's taking a bath, journaling, meditating, but kind of like processing how you feel and making sure you have time to feel like safe and at home, I guess, like in whatever way that looks for you. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, Cancer and Cancer Rising. If you like this, please like and comment down below. And if you want to learn astrology, then check out the North Node Society membership, which is in the description box below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, Leo Rising. This is my dog, Luna. She wanted to say hi to you guys for this group. And now I'm going to say goodbye. Bye, Lulu. Leo Rising and Leo Sun. This Sun is moving through, if you're rising, if you're a Leo Rising, the Sun is moving through your 1st house, which means that the moon is opposite it in the 7th house of relationships. And Jupiter is here lighting up this area. And I feel like it's giving you guys some tangible results with this Knight of Pentacles. Interesting. Some tangible relationship results, or some tangible results in your life through other people. Because I do see that some of those shifts could actually be in your career for some of you. Let me get to that in a second. Let's finish pulling cards. All right, Leos, let's get into this. I'm seeing a lot of success starting to materialize for you guys, and I feel like this could be coming in multiple avenues. Obviously, it's going to depend on the person, on your chart, as always. So if you ever want personalization, just book a reading with me. But I definitely feel like you guys are having some manifestations come in the form of other people. So this could be new relationships coming into your life, new levels of commitment in existing relationships. This could be people coming in that are going to be business partners that are going to help give you opportunities in your career, some kind of form of connection that can up level you, or just a general feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment and wholeness in your relationships. I pulled the wholeness and the happiness card. I'm definitely getting a sense that you guys are experiencing some of the greatest sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in your life right now. And I just love this, especially with the sun moving through your first house. It gives you guys more visibility, more attractiveness, more magneticness. It makes you at center stage. And so I feel like what this is saying is that this is part of what's making you happy. This, not only these things coming through in terms of your relationships or through other people, but also getting recognition and being seen for all the things that you've been doing. You guys have Mercury conjunct Mars in Virgo in your second house, making a trine to Uranus in your 10th house. This could be finances coming in, or you at least being motivated about earning your money, or creating some kind of financial stability for yourself. And I think that could be part of the reason I chose the Knight of Pentacles. It says efficiency, not getting that vibe of efficiency. The vibe I'm getting is that this is you on a path of creating something long term, and you're starting to see you're well on your way. I had another group, Taurus Rising, that had 7 of Pentacles. They are in the thick of the hard work. You guys are starting to come out of the clearing. You're starting to see the sun. The trees have moved a little bit, and you're out in the open seeing what is ahead of you, but not quite at the finish line. So I feel like you guys have made a solid effort, are seeing solid tangible results, and this could be financially, or even just in developing skills if you're in school, or confidence if you're in your work. And with the trine to Uranus in the 10th house, this to me is saying I'm seeing positive changes and developments in your career, or your level of visibility by the public. More people could start to witness you for what you're doing. Managers could start to give you more credit. There is this feeling like you're getting a little bit more, again, recognition for the effort that you've been put in. And this could come in terms of career and finances, confidence and skills, and all those areas I was mentioning. You guys also have Mercury opposite Neptune in the 8th house. So I feel like even though you're developing these skills, there's still probably part of you, or these finances or whatever, there's still either part of you that's relying on other people still for a little bit of financial support. So maybe if you're in school and like you're getting more money, but like your parents are still paying for something, or like you are getting more confident and more skills, but you still have a little bit of insecurity, a little bit of self-doubt. Those things are being asked to release you're being asked to release those things at this time. Especially with Chiron also in your 8th house. Is it in your 8th house? No, that's in your 9th house. Especially with Chiron in your 9th house and opposing Venus and Libra in your 3rd house. This could be you kind of feeling like, I feel like the opposition with Neptune can bring about those insecurities. And with Chiron in the 9th house, it's like, well, because I have these qualities, or because I'm not perfect, I'm not gonna like achieve this. Like that's too out of reach, or like I can't do that, blah, blah, blah. This kind of like, I pulled a self-victimization card, and I feel like it's kind of like that. Like you're attacking yourself, you're a victim to your own thoughts, and it's putting you down unnecessarily about your potential. And I feel like with this Hanged One card is saying you're totally shifting that on its head. You're able to see yourself in a different light right now, and that's also one of the reasons where you're starting to manifest more recognition. And I think those things are kind of hand in hand. Like the more recognition that you're getting, the better that you're feeling, the more those insecurities go away. But then also the more confident you are, the more recognition you're getting. It's like this upward spiral of a cycle. And I also pulled this card. I love this card. It says Primavera, which in Spanish means spring. And it says, she who begins, launch, actualize and potential. And that's what the sun moving through your first house is. It's like launching yourself into the world. When the sun was moving through your 12th house last month, it's like this feeling of breaking things down before you're reborn again. And this is spring. Things are born again. Things are coming back to life after winter. So this is like a kind of analogy that I'm getting for your life. Like things are picking up. You're being seen. You're de-thawing. You're being launched back into the world to help reach a greater level of potential after this previous cycle was over. So I just love that. I think that's so beautiful. And I pulled the happiness card. So I feel like you guys are going to be getting just such a high level of happiness and fulfillment from this. You guys have Venus in the 3rd house making a trine to Saturn in the 7th house and a trine to the North Node Gemini in your 11th house. So I feel like this optimism is going to carry through the way that you think, the way that you communicate, and it's going to spill into your relationships. And you're going to start feeling like those are improving because you've been having Saturn move to the 7th house. It brings more effort, it brings more challenges, it brings more responsibility, commitments, or even endings in relationships. And so it's finally time to get a little bit of a break with that, to move forward, to make progress with that, to feel like your relationships are shining, are supporting you, are feeling good. And a lot of it is coming from this change in perspective, this change in mindset that is within you. I did pull some cards around, I guess, advice. So if you guys are having endings, which sometimes can happen with full moons, endings in relationships, I am getting some cards saying that you guys are, like, if you're feeling sad right now, even though I'm pulling so many cards around happiness, I feel like you guys are going to feel a lot happier once this relationship is ended, because I think it's holding you back. I think whatever, if that is somebody that you're with, that you're thinking about breaking up with, or that you just had a breakup with, this is just a message for some of you, because again, this could be about a lot of things in relationships, but sometimes full moons in the 7th house can bring endings, even though Jupiter is there, which means opportunities. But that's what I'm saying is, like, if you are having an ending, that ending is an opportunity, because it's an opportunity for you to grow. It says let them go. This tree is burning down. And if you know anything about forest fires, you know that sometimes you have to create forest fires in order for there to be health, stabilization, and growth to occur in that forest again. You have to literally burn it to have new growth and new prosperity. And I feel like that's part of what, if some of you are going through breakups, again, select few, that's what this is saying, that this breakup is happening for a very key purpose, to create room for things that are meant to be there, that are going to help you grow more in your life than you could on with that person. It also says, princess, you can be your own knight. So some of you that are going through that breakup are meant to not jump into another relationship. You're not here to emotionally rely on someone else. The way that you're actually going to grow is by being alone, by doing these things on your own, by being that center of attention, by having more of the world of revolve around you. And so that, I feel like, is part of this message. I also have some messages about body positivity. So I feel like this is saying to love your body. Some of you might need to hear this. Love your body no matter what. And then also, you've earned your stripes. So this girl has stretch marks, which represents that. So I think that's partially saying to love your body no matter what, but also that you've earned any dings and nicks that you've had on your ego, on yourself in your life. It's like, those are badges of honor. Those are scars of wisdom. And those things are going to help carry you into, I don't know, it's just like there's more wisdom there. It's going to help carry you into this stronger leadership positions and this bigger impact, because you have all this reservoir of experience in your life. So it's kind of saying to, like, own everything that you've been through. Own that you've been a victim of your own thoughts. Own that you've been maybe in a relationship that wasn't working. Own that you've been behind the scenes kind of frustrated, maybe you're not getting the full headway that you want in your career or your finances. Like, those things are shifting for you, but own your past and use that as a light for your future, and to be that wise leader that other people rely on Leos to be. So that's what I see for you guys, Leo and Leo Rising. If this resonates, please like and comment down below. If you're interested in learning about astrology, you can join the North Node Society membership, which is linked down in the description box below. I hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Virgo Rising. So for Virgos, I pulled your cards already, and let's go ahead and start talking about this moon. So the new moon, or sorry, the full moon is happening in your sixth house, which means that the sun is in the 12th house. And what I'm getting from this, whenever the sun is in the 12th house, is it's finally made its full way around your entire zodiac sign and is about to be reborn in the first house. So oftentimes there are endings that occur when the sun is in the 12th house. We can feel our energy turn inward. We can feel like we have to make certain decisions about what we want to take with us in this new chapter that's coming up. And it's kind of like this reckoning period. And I think that's why I pulled the Judgment card, which says reckoning on it. I think it's it's your opportunity right now to start assessing, I guess, what's going on in your life and make difficult decisions about what you want to carry forward when in the next month when the sun moves into your first house. With the moon being in the sixth house in Jupiter, these things could be related to work, to your health, to your routine. I do feel like you've been putting in a lot of effort into this area of your life, and you might have been feeling like maybe it's not fully going as quickly as you would want it to, I guess I would say. This is the Nine of Wands. Wands are about passion, about our drive, ambition, and energy. But the Nine of Wands can signify us needing to maintain our consistency, to hold on to our resilience, to keep up that passion, to keep up that drive towards going to a goal. And oftentimes when Saturn is moving through the sixth house, it can feel like that. It can feel like things are dense in the sense that you have to put a lot of output just to get a little bit back. The sixth house, I kind of feel like, is this cavernous, like black hole type of energy where it takes a lot and doesn't always give results back. The good news is that this moon is here and it's with Jupiter, which is giving us some rewards back for efforts prior. It's taking off some of the edge of the resilience that you've built up and making it feel like you're getting some forward movement. Because after the Nine of Wands, we have the Eight of Wands, which even though it seems like it's not progressing, because technically the numbers aren't progressing, it feels like it's progressing because the resilience breaks through to action, to momentum, to things moving very quickly, to getting some results or some opportunities coming through your work, or through your health or through your routines. So one of those aspects of your life has probably felt a little bit daunting. Your level of responsibilities essentially, and it's probably been weighing on you a little bit, and it's time to maybe make some decisions about which of those responsibilities should stay forward, how you can approach those responsibilities in a better way. And when the sun moves into your first house next month, you'll have the opportunity to take action on that. But at least in the meantime, I feel like you guys are starting to get more opportunities in this area of your life, more ease, more flow, in the sense that things are moving forward and they're not impeded as much. So you're getting this fast moving energy, this action occurring in your career, your health, or your daily routines. I did get the Three of Swords, which says heartbreak. This feels like kind of like a totally different message, if I'm being honest. And I think that this could possibly be related to what's going on with having Neptune in your seventh house. So you have Mercury in your first house making an opposition to Neptune in the seventh. This can sometimes create disillusionment in relationships, in the sense that you are seeing things with very rose-colored glasses or very optimistically, and then like after this opposition ends, you see things clearly and it's like, oh, well, that's not what I thought it was, or oh, that's not how I wanted the situation to turn out with this person. So there could be some sense of loss in that, and that you have this like really optimistic attitude about someone or something going on with a person, and then they kind of let you down, or it just doesn't turn out, the opportunity doesn't turn out quite as you expected. Again, this is a secondary message, not related to what I was just saying before about your work. I think you will have opportunities there, but something with someone going on is probably going to lead to either disillusionment, or some sense of disappointment or frustration with this heartbreak card. I do think that there's going to be, that possibility. Maybe this is just to warn you against that, and to say, to not have high expectations, to allow yourself to feel optimistic, but not overly rely on that. With Mercury conjunct Mars in your first house, you guys are probably feeling a lot more probably a little bit agitated because Mercury is your ruling planet, which means it has a lot to do with how you're going to navigate life and how you're going to feel and respond to the world. So the state of Mercury that Mercury is in is going to affect you. And Mars is kind of like this inflammatory, irritating planet that can cause a little bit more arguments, a little bit more strife, but also a lot of energy, also a lot of ambition, also a lot of drive. And so there's going to be positive and negatives to this. On one hand, you might get this kind of anxiety feeling or this intensity within you that can be channeled into negative outlets like frustration or arguments. But it could also be used in a very positive way, especially because both of these planets are trining Uranus in the 9th house. If you're focused on using that towards a long-term vision, towards a long-term goal, I see this extra energy actually really benefiting you and being kind of like the wind underneath your sails kind of thing. So you can either use that to self-destruct or use that towards your long-term vision, which I feel like you guys are going to do with this 8 of Wands card. You're going to take action, you're going to move full steam ahead, and you're going to use this energy coming from Mars dumping into your personal planet, Mercury, to see your long-term vision to completion. You guys also have Venus and Libra in your 2nd house opposing Chiron in the 8th house. So sometimes this can bring about feelings of, with Venus in the 2nd house, I love this. Venus can bring more benefits to our finances, more stability there to that area of our life, a greater sense of self-confidence. But then with the opposition with Chiron, it can kind of throw this a little bit off kilter. So if we think about it, I think about it like something orbiting or like a coin spinning. If you kind of hit it, it can knock it off and it can fall, or the orbit can shift and change. And the opposition with Chiron is like us having confidence and us feeling more stable in our finances, and then Chiron kind of comes in and is like, are you sure about that? You know, are you really doing that good? And it just kind of leads to more of a questioning. But ultimately, this is going to be healed. Whatever opposition with Chiron is for all of us at this time is going to be less of an issue because Venus is involved in a trine with the North Node and Saturn in this grand air trine. So Venus in your 2nd house is trining Saturn in your 6th, is trining the North Node in Gemini in your 10th. So even though you might start feeling like you're not always confident, like you're kind of in this push and pull between I'm doing great, my finances are good, I am confident, versus, oh, actually, I don't know, there's so much I don't know, there's so much I need to work on, I'm not exactly where I want to be. Those things are all going to be, I feel like, set aside because you're going to start to feel like things are coming in your career. You are having ideas, or you are having opportunities to step up, maybe in a leadership position, or the things that you've been putting effort into in your job are going to start pushing you forward into that kind of like more of a leadership role in your life, and get more recognition with the North Node in the 10th house. And I think that's also going to lead to more confidence and possibly more finances. So that's just kind of like the general gist. I feel like you guys are getting some opportunities coming in through career, through things that you've really done in the past. I also have the card She Who Thrives, flourish, prosper, and blossom. And this is what I feel like having Venus in the 2nd house is like. Your finances are flourishing. You're finally feeling that sense of stability. You're blossoming into your skill set, which is ultimately going to benefit your long-term career vision. And I also have She Who Questions, Curiosity, Destiny, and Search. I feel like this has a lot to do with Mercury conjunct Mars, making a trine to Uranus in the 9th house. This is a stimulation of your mind. This is making you extra curious, extra driven to go and search for the things that are meant for you, for the things that feel exciting, that feel like growth, that feel like opportunities for you. You're going to have a lot more stimulation to go after those. So embrace your curiosity at this time. Allow yourself to explore that and explore your desires, explore your interests, but thinking about it in terms of your long-term vision. So these things that I am interested in kind of picking up now, these skills or these parts of myself that I'm interested in exploring, how does that fit into me 10 years from now? How does that fit into my career? How does that fit into me being a better person in this area or in that area of my life? It's like utilizing that curiosity as a tool to think about things in terms of longevity, not just what you're interested in doing right now. I also got the She Who Battles card, Justice, Fierce, and Commitment. So I feel like this is testing your commitment with Saturn moving to the 6th house. It's testing your commitment to your goals, to your job, to putting effort into things and not getting immediate results. The sixth house takes time. It takes energy. It can be very daunting. And I feel like it's ultimately a larger cycle of testing your commitment. And then when Saturn moves into the seventh, it's going to be totally different experience for you guys. And things are going to ease up in terms of your job, which should be when Saturn moves into Pisces. I have another card here that says Voyage. You already have all the answers. I feel like Mercury and Mars in your first house is saying that all of these insights, this curiosity, this energy, it's all coming from within. It's like you have the answers yourself. It's in the first house of self. It's all self-directed. Don't look outside of yourself to know what to do next, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Where your curiosity is where you're meant to follow. You know, follow that breadcrumb. You don't need to like consult a friend or look at what other people are doing in their career and their life. Even if it doesn't quite make sense about how it's going to unfold necessarily, you're not meant to like look at other people's life like a diagram. You're meant to just do your own thing because you have Mars. They're saying it's time to focus on you, what you want, what you desire, even if that's totally different than what everyone else around you is telling you to do or what everyone else around you is doing. It doesn't matter. You have your own map internally with that Mars and Mercury in your first house. And then Sundress, do it for you. Exactly. You're doing things that make you happy. You're doing things that make you curious. It's all about you this month. And then when the sun moves into your house, their first house next month, it's still going to be about you. So it feels really positive in that sense. I also pulled a grounding card. I feel like this is more of a nurturing, making sure that even though you have so much output going on in your life right now, that you are taking whatever opportunities you do have to rest, to slow down, because sometimes Saturn moving to the sixth is like very responsible, a lot of tasks, a lot of things on our plate, and it can feel daunting. And so this grounding card, I feel like, is you taking the time to water your inner garden essentially, so that you can keep going and can keep giving to other people. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, Virgo and Virgo Rising. If this resonates, please like and comment down below. And if you're interested in learning about astrology, then I highly suggest checking out the North Node Society membership. I have a whole course on there, and we meet and have calls about astrology every month. So you can check that out in the description box below. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, next we have Libra and Libra Rising. So for Libras, this moon is happening in your 5th house. That means the sun is moving through your 11th house. So whenever the sun moves through your 11th house, it can oftentimes stimulate your social life. Especially also with the full moon in the 5th, it's like kind of like those things are really illuminated for you. You might have more activities to do. You might feel like you have more connections, more romantic interest, especially with Jupiter conjunct this moon in the 5th house. In terms of your dating life or your sex life, those things are really amplified at this time or really prevalent. And the 5th house is also things that we put energy into that will grow over time. So this is things like children or creative projects or your hobbies, things that can grow and bear fruit over decades or over longevity of time. And so with Jupiter coming in here and this being a full moon, this can represent past actions that you've put into things that have started to pay off now. Opportunities, recognition, things like this. This is a very common theme that I'm using for a lot of these readings, for a lot of the signs, but especially for something in the 5th house and the 11th house. Those are both houses that grow over time, and it can also pay back for growth in the past. And I think that's part of the reason why I pulled the 9 of Pentacles, which says abundance. So this to me is saying that you guys are achieving a new level of abundance or satisfaction in a certain area of your life, whether that's having more romantic suitors or your creative projects finally starting to make money, or you're starting to, like, your hobbies that you've developed are starting to really take off somehow for you, and you're feeling like they're thriving in some way. Or your children are being much more prosperous. Some element of your life is excelling, I should say. You guys also have Mercury and Mars in Virgo in your 12th house, and this is trining Uranus in your 8th house. This to me is this Queen of Swords card, which says perceptive. I feel like this could be having Mercury in your 12th house can oftentimes indicate that the mind or your perception is more focused inward or focused on like energy. So like Mercury in the 12th house is interesting because Mercury loves facts, it loves data, it loves like tangible evidence. It loves to analyze, and Mars next to it wants to take action on whatever it's analyzing. However, this energy is now turned inward. The eye has turned inward on itself. So I feel like this is a self-analysis, especially with this trine to Uranus in the 8th house. I feel like you guys are starting to analyze maybe ways in which you've been hurt in the past or are carrying some kind of trauma. And you're using that as baggage that could prevent you from moving forward. This is a very similar message to Gemini, but maybe that's because I'm reading for myself. But there's often things from the past that you're looking to analyze and cut out. You know, it's a very self-reflective energy. Are those memories, are those feelings, are those experiences, are those events from your past a part of your future, or are they holding you back? Can you take the wisdom from them and leave the baggage? Can you leave the heaviness? And I feel like that's helping you finally release some of that, because with the trine to Uranus in the 8th house is creating like a sudden shift or breakage from those insecurities, from those negative thought patterns that have probably plagued you, from like these stored emotional experiences. So this is feeling so similar to the Gemini reading. And then that's what I see, because it's like these two cards combined, I feel like you're seeking your own inner truth right now. I think instead of looking at these things from the past as truth or as fact still today, you're taking things from them and learning from them and then deciding what's true now. Because sometimes we, for example, operate as children. We will develop coping styles or coping mechanisms to deal with difficult situations, or we will create belief systems to deal with difficult situations, or because it fit that time in our life. But then you grow up and those beliefs are no longer true, or then you grow up and that coping style is no longer helpful to you. And so you have to actually go back and ask yourself, is this true? Is this helpful? Is it still relevant today? Because a lot of times we're operating under old programming. It's like having a brand new laptop with, iOS 3.0 when we're supposed to be on 11.0. And it's like, it's time to upgrade. It's time to upgrade internally so that we can match where our life is going. And I feel like that's what the Perceptive and Seek Truth is about. It's time for some internal upgrades, and letting go of some of those aspects of ourself that are outdated, that are no longer serving us. And I think once we do that, we're going to start to feel like we are moving forward at a really quick pace. Like if you are interested in someone romantically, that's moving forward really quickly. Or if you're starting to make progress on your business or on your hobbies, or with your children, it's like all those green lights are going to start appearing, and the momentum, like this card says, is going to really pick up. So it's like we have to kind of shed a little bit of that outer layer that has been well expired, that is crusty ass skin that needs to fall away, so that we can be quick and be fresh underneath. Okay, you guys also have Mercury opposite Neptune in the 6th house. So I feel like normally for a lot of people, I'm saying that can create some sense of illusion or not being able to see things clearly. And I do think that that's true. But honestly, like some of the vibe that I'm getting from this is, first of all, some advice to make sure that you're resting when you need to rest. Resting your mind, because Mars is there as well, like physically, but I feel like there's a need to really to unplug your mind somehow. Like if your mind is kind of going a lot with this conjunction with Mars, and if you feel like you're overthinking, to just make sure that you're definitely taking a pause, a break, so that you can unplug from that for a second. I also though want to talk about this card, because I think this opposition can refer to needing to forgive other people. Because Mercury is in the 12th house, it really, to me, is bringing things to a close in terms of certain things that we're thinking about. Like we're thinking about things either that are from the past, or it's bringing like, yeah, it's just our mind is like trying to bring issues to a close that need to close out before we begin a new cycle when Mercury goes into your first house. So when it opposes Neptune in the sixth house, there can be like a lot of harm that is done to us in the sixth house. And to me, I feel like this opposition can indicate like that becoming a sensitive issue. Normally, when I have the opposition, I'm thinking like, well, we can't see clearly. Maybe that's true. Maybe we can't fully see clearly, but we know that there has been hurt done to us, but we can't quite put a finger on what that was. And yeah, I think that this is basically telling us that we need to forgive. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to forgive other people. Anything that is trying to be closed up, it needs to occur from a place of forgiveness, is essentially what I mean. And this could specifically bring up things in relationships because Venus in Libra in the first house is opposing Chiron in the seventh house. So first of all, let me just rewind and say Venus in Libra in the first house is really great for finances, which probably has a lot to do with the Nine of Pentacles. It's really great for attracting opportunities into your life. Yeah, it's just good. It's just good to kind of have Venus on your side and in your court. But then with the opposition with Chiron in the seventh, it's like some of those things that you might need to forgive might need to be around relationships because you've had Chiron moving to the seventh house for a long time, which can mean that people can trigger you and your wounds from childhood or even past lives without even realizing it. And they don't really know like to the full extent of how they're contributing to any difficulty in your life. And maybe it's time to just forgive any of those pains other people have caused you unknowingly or unintentionally. Okay, I do think you're gonna have a good time with that, starting to like release and forgive some of that because you have Venus in the first house making a trine to the North Node, and Saturn is trining these as well. So it's a grand air trine between Venus, Saturn, and the North Node. So because Saturn is in the fifth house, I think that some of the things that you're gonna forgive could be around. Sorry, I'm just getting so many different messages because of these cards here. So having Venus making a trine to Saturn in the fifth house, I'm going to say that some of you guys are going to be very potentially fertile at this time physically. If you're trying to have children, now is a really great time to do so. I pulled this fertility card. Then also having Saturn in the fifth house is not typically associated with like fertility necessarily. I mean, it can represent having more responsibility with children, which can mean that you're going to get pregnant. But with the trine with Venus, to me, is saying that that could bring that into your life in the North Node. So if you're trying to get pregnant, this is a message to some of you that that's possible at this time. If it's not pregnancy, the fertility can come into an area of your life that you want it to be. So it could be coming into your sex life that's feeling much more abundant, much more satisfying. That could be coming into your business. You could start attracting more people with your services or with your offerings. Or it could be, if you already have kids, it could be feeling like your kids are feeling much better with you, or they're making more progress in their life. There's some fertile soil and something that is very interesting to you that you've been trying to grow long term, as I mentioned before. This could be your hobbies, your creative projects. It has that fertile soil. So now is the time to take advantage of that and pursue that to the fullest extent. And I think that's probably why I said dragons slay them all. To me, this is saying like, don't hold yourself back. It's time to release any inner dragons that are from the past that having Mercury in your 12th house and Mars in your 12th house is going to help you analyze what dragons you might be fighting against and that you've caused for yourself from childhood, that old programming. It's time to slay those dragons and then pursue this project or whatever this is to the fullest extent because of this fertility card. It's making a trine to the North Node in the 9th house. So I feel like this is also supporting your own unique belief system. I think some of us might be encountering like challenging circumstances with another person, And some of us, it might be that we need to take a stand in what we believe in. I pulled this card, she who stands, resolute, implacable, determined. And we have the North Node in our ninth house. What does that mean? It means that we're going to encounter people in our lives that don't believe the same things that we believe, whether that's about ourselves, about life, about work, about how we should raise our children, whatever it is. There's some aspect here of us thinking something and another person thinking something else, and then maybe them trying to have an influence over us. And this is saying to take that stand, to hold your ground. This is a time to know who you are. Venus is in your first house. You know what you value. You know what you're standing for. You know what you believe. You also know what you're passionate about, what you want to give your time and energy to, what you want to cultivate, what you don't want to cultivate. So don't let other people persuade you or sway you in this. Just hold your ground, basically. And then just forgive people if they're not seeing eye to eye with you and they're treating you in a certain way. Just forgive those people. Forgive the people from the past. Forgive the people right now. Anyone who could be causing you pain, because I think that's going to lead to more lightness and more momentum as you start to let go of any of the negative emotion associated with other people that honestly just doesn't need to be there. You're slaying those dragons by killing them with kindness, and you're letting it go. And I feel like that's what's going to lead you to even more abundance that you're already starting to experience with this full moon. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, Libra and Libra Rising. If it resonates, please like and comment down below. And if you're interested in learning astrology, then I highly recommend checking out my North Node Society membership, which is in the description box below. Hope you have a great day. Bye. All right, up next we have Scorpio Rising. So for you guys, this full moon is happening in your 4th house of home and family and emotional well-being. That means the sun is moving through your 10th house of career. So as a Scorpio Rising, your emphasis this month is on your career, is on your legacy, is on your place in the world. And I pulled the sun card, which says clarity. So you could be having more clarity in your career about that direction that you're going in. And with this King of Swords card, I feel like this is also a sense of clarity, but coming in through facts, through your intelligence, through your understanding and analysis of a situation. So it's interesting that I have so much kind of centered around like clarity and intellect, which is interesting because the moon in the 4th house is very emotional. It has a lot to do with more of our feelings and our intuition, and it just has a very different energy from the cards that I'm pulling, from where the sun is. So I think it could light up also your emotional, like having clarity over your emotions. And this could also impact your career. So it's like these things are kind of feeding into each other. They are linked, which means it's energy flowing back and forth. It's an opposition. So the sun is lighting up the moon, showing you what you feel emotionally, but then the moon is then taking those emotions, interpreting them, and putting them into your career. And you're having more clarity about the career direction from your emotional well-being. With Jupiter in the 4th, conjunct this moon, I feel like you guys are having an opportunity to just feel better. This could be more optimism in your career or in your home life or in both, and those feed into each other again. But there is some sense of like ease and flow in your home, in your emotional well-being. And yeah, I feel like it's giving you an opportunity to just have some emotional respite if you've been questioning yourself recently, which I have seen for some Scorpio energy for these readings. I have seen some more questioning, some more like over-analysis, overthinking, being a victim of your own thoughts. I'm feeling like that's going away. And look, I literally pulled the card, She Who Calms, Stillness, Purity, Quiet. That's why I feel like you guys are calming your mind. You guys are less, you might have a lot going on still. You guys have a lot of emphasis on your outward presence in the world. So I feel like you guys are going to be seen. You're going to be social. You're going to be active in your career. I think you guys are going to be busy. At the same time, I also feel like there's a stillness in your mind. There's more of a calmness in, and less like self-criticalness that's coming through. I feel like you guys are having clarity and insights about where you want to go, and that's putting you at ease. It's finally giving you a sense of like understanding and comfort about where you are, what this last chapter has been about, and where you want to go moving forward. It is a 29-degree moon, so Aquarius full moon at 29 degrees, this is a critical degree, which means you're wrapping up those last things and moving into the next chapter. And so this clarity coming in at the end of this chapter, it means so much, because as you move into the next one, you're going to know where you're going for the most part. I feel like it's not like you know the ultimate end destination, but I feel like you guys at least know where you are along this journey. You know where your next step is. You've taken that step, and you're content with this place that you're at right now. And I feel like, yeah, it just seems really positive in terms of like easing your mind a bit, which I think has been an issue. I pulled a card that says purification, and I kind of want to look up what it says, because I feel like it doesn't mean just that. Let's see. It says, snapdragons indicate you have within you all that you require. They bring you energy to focus your resources and bring your ideas into fruition. What was I saying? You guys are getting more clear about what those ideas are. And now it's time with the sun in the 10th house to manifest it outwardly, to put your energy out into the world to concretize these ideas. Accurate and unbiased observation is called for. Exactly. Again, it says a lot of intellectual stuff. So don't hesitate to ask for a little more time. A reversal of roles, fortune, and even outcomes could be coming. Don't become too ruthless or scatter yourself too far. A project that is close to you is in danger of failing. Okay, anyway, I don't agree with the last part. But yes, I think that's exactly what it's saying. You having, I feel like it's very like matter of fact kind of masculine intellect coming through right now. Like you're assessing where you are, you see it, you have clarity, and it's so weird because the moon is in the 4th house, so it's like so emotional at the same time. But I just feel like you're handling it in a different way, in a positive way. Okay. You guys have Mercury conjunct Mars in Virgo in your 11th house. This is trining Uranus in your 7th house. This can be a little bit disruptive in relationships, in a good way. In a good way. This Mercury conjunct Mars can be very energizing in your social life. And with the trine to Uranus, it can mean that you're having new connections coming in. This could be new work connections, new friends, new people that you're meeting. Some kind of shift in your social sphere is definitely on the horizon for you. With Mercury opposite Neptune in the 5th, it might feel like sometimes people maybe are, the first thing that came to mind was like people are into different stuff than you. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I also, at that same moment, I felt called to pull another card, and this said affection. So this could be some issue specifically around physical affection, given that this is in the 5th house. So some of you guys might be a little bit disillusioned about physical affection, or you might be looking for it in the wrong spots. With Mercury opposite Neptune, there's like lack of clarity, lack of being able to see what's going on, lack of transparency. So if you guys are having a hookup or something like that, I feel like just be careful. Just be careful is all I'm going to say. Yeah, you might find that you might find yourself disillusioned later. Like it might feel like all fun and games now, and then at some point it might not feel as positive. This opposition could also be like this person is romancing you, or this person is like, I just feel like there's something that's like too good to be true kind of thing. Or it's like, that's always with Mercury opposite Neptune is this feeling that things are going really well and we just love it. And then it's like, actually, realistically, it's not like that. Which I'm hoping that this clarity that you guys are having will extend to that area of your life, although that might take some more time for this opposition to move. So anyway, if there's some area around like physical affection where you become disillusioned, that is normal with what I'm seeing. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You guys have Venus and Libra in your 12th house opposing Chiron in your 6th house. Interesting. I wonder if this, because Venus opposite Chiron can bring up some kind of like more painful situations in relationships or in work dynamics, or even just internally within ourselves. And I feel like this has something to do with this bitch fire, stand up for yourself card. There might be some disagreements in the workplace. There might be some, I don't know. I honestly, what do you think this means? I feel like this is someone testing you, is what I'm getting from this. Like, I think mostly you're gonna have really positive relationships and positive changes in relationships. But I also think that there can be some people who test you a little bit and are asking you to stand up for yourself. It could be related to this affection card. So if you are getting affection from somebody that doesn't treat you well, then this could be you standing up for yourself in that relationship. Or if you're not getting the affection that you want out of even just a friendship, like whatever that love and that nurturing you need, and you're not getting it, this is you standing up for yourself and asking for it. I feel like these are somehow related. There's some element here of relationships, nurturing and affection, and you having to hold your power, stand up for yourself, ask for what you want, not take anything less. So I don't know how that relates to you guys. All that's just what I'm saying. That's just what I'm saying. I don't know. You guys also have Venus in the 12th making a trine to Saturn in the 4th, which is also trining Gemini in the 8th house. So this is a grand air trine. This is so great for communication. And I feel like what this is doing is adding to that clarity. I feel like it's helping you guys understand and process some of the emotions that you've been going through, and from an intellectual perspective, from either a distance perspective or from something that feels like you are, I feel like this purification card coming through, like you're able to kind of purify and release some of the toxins, is what I'm getting from this. Like anything that's felt difficult, anything that's felt toxic emotionally is being wrung out, and you're able to see more clearly with just with your mind, with your analytical mind. And you're not allowing the emotions to bog you down as much. And as a Scorpio, you have the water, you have the emotions being at the center of your being. And so sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes it can come over you like a wave. And I feel like this is, the sun is coming out to dry the water, to make it less emotional, or to help you process some of those emotions, to quiet the mind, to enter into a new level of calm. Okay. So I guess that's what I'm seeing for you guys, Scorpio. I hope that you like this. Please like and comment down below if you do. If you're interested in learning about astrology, I highly recommend checking out the North Node Society. This month we're going to be doing a full analysis of Mercury. So we're going to be going through Mercury and all the houses and all the signs, and it's going to be a super fun live call. So if you want to join for that, just make sure you join the description and North Node Society in description box below. Thanks. Bye. All right, up next we have Sagittarius. So for you guys, Sagittarius, this full moon in Aquarius is happening in your 3rd house. Ooh, unlearn, interesting. So you guys, the 3rd house is actually a lot about our mind, and it means that the sun is in the 9th house of your belief systems. So it's definitely a lot about, what you believe, what you think, how you process information, how you communicate that information. And it's interesting that the card I pulled says unlearn on it. The Hierophant can be representing some kind of group think, which is oftentimes actually what Aquarius represents, is kind of like a herd mentality, belonging to the group, understanding the group and wanting to fit in to some degree. And so there might be some element here of you guys breaking free from that, separating yourself from what people are normally thinking, people around you. And it could feel like there's a little bit of maybe a push and pull between your beliefs and others, or just a needing to reevaluate what you're thinking, or standing stronger in what you're thinking and not reevaluating it. Actually, no, I'm going to say reevaluating. Yes. Because having the moon in the 3rd, like the 3rd is Gemini energy. The 3rd is mutable energy. It's adaptable. Sagittarius tends to be more fixed on their belief systems. They tend to know what they know, believe what they believe. But Gemini is like, I'll believe anything. Give me data and I process that data, and I will understand what to believe once I've processed that data. So I feel like for you guys, you might be going through a period where you're actually asked to become more malleable in your mindset, into how you're perceiving certain events or communicating about certain events, or belief, just around beliefs in general. And I pulled the Queen of Swords, perceptive. So this is coming up with your truth, your inner truth. But maybe you have to unlearn some existing inner truths that you have first. Maybe it's time to use some of this analytical mind to determine to determine, you know, what is actually going on, to look at different sides, different perspectives, and then make a decision about what to believe. I'm going to pull one more card. Wow, a lot just came out. I did not mean to do that. King of Cups, King of Pentacles, and the Death card. Interesting. So these are big energies, you guys. I wonder what's going on here. This kind of feels like two separate messages because I wanted to lay them out differently. So, oh, that must be about having Mercury and Mars in your 10th house. So, okay. I think I might come back to what I was just saying before. You guys have Mercury and Mars conjunct in Virgo in your 10th house. This is very energizing for your career. Essentially, I feel like you guys are very focused. You might have a lot of ideas. You might have a lot of drive towards pursuing those ideas in your career. You might be feeling like maybe you have more responsibility coming towards you, but it's like exciting. You have things to work on. You have areas in which you can grow. And with the trine to Uranus in the 6th house, I feel like this is specifically coming in. If you have a job, it's coming in and kind of giving you an opportunity for more responsibility or more leadership or more recognition. With the trine with Uranus in the 6th house, it could also mean that your well-being is improving through your self-discipline, through your work, for you working towards these long-term goals. You're starting to improve other areas of your life as well. Like your productivity is feeding into your work, helping your work grow, but then that stability is also helping you create more consistency in your schedule. It's like you're seeing things kind of, you're feeling energized for your career, and that is also helping you stay energized in your day-to-day. Like I guess what I'm saying is like I just thinking of the words like efficiency, productivity, improvement, and well-being and health. And this is all kind of funneling into your career and back into those areas of your life as well. It's like they're working all together. Why am I doing this again? Okay. Lavender, surround yourself with love. Aw, I love that, you guys. So I feel like this is coming in with Venus being in your 11th house. You guys are being very supported for social interaction. This is a time for commingling, for unifying groups, for unifying friends. And Venus is trining Saturn in the 3rd house, saying that your open-mindedness, the flexibility, you taking in new information from people around you, this shift in thinking that is going to come from having more data, from talking to more people, that is going to help you and your relationships. So your ability to communicate effectively, to be malleable, to be perceptive, all of those things are unifying your friends in a greater way and helping you understand your partner a lot more, because your North Node is in the 7th house, and all these things are making a trine. I feel like your mind is just clearing up. Like the way that you think and communicate is again more malleable, and it's clearing the air. I feel like if you've had discord, disagreements, dissatisfaction in relationships from different perspectives, I feel like those things are improving now. I feel like they're coming to a head to improve. Yeah, and I feel like that surround yourself with love card is saying that you're going to experience love from this. You're going to experience feeling more seen, more understood, because you are seeing and understanding that person in a different way, or your friends in a different way, whoever these individuals are. Okay. You guys also have Mercury opposite Neptune in your 4th house. So Mercury's in your 10th, opposing Neptune in your 4th house. So I think this open-mindedness is going to be very important for you, but with Mercury opposing Neptune, sometimes like solidifying our beliefs or our thoughts or even communicating about something in a solid way is difficult. I'm going to say especially emotional things, because the opposition is occurring with Neptune in the 4th house. If you have an emotionally charged topic, it might not be the best time to talk about it with loved ones, at your work, wherever it is. Maybe just kind of save that for September. With this opposition, it's like they might not really see where you're coming from. You might feel a little bit disillusioned with that conversation if you're trying to talk about that. So that's just kind of a little piece of advice. You guys also have Venus in the 11th opposing Chiron in the 5th house. So this can sometimes feel like your friendships and your romantic life are not on the same page. It can also feel like you guys might have those unity in creating relationships, but then like your sex life isn't like doing its thing as you would want it to, or your confidence in your sexuality and like owning yourself might not be like at its peak, and that can kind of go against creating like it's not helping you in your relationships somehow. Like these two little elements are kind of against each other. But what I'm seeing is that through your communication, through your adaptability, through your open mindset, those situations will resolve itself. Those situations won't be as much of an issue. And I pulled the She Who Hopes, Love, Hope, and Relationships. So I feel like this is telling you to have more optimism in your relationships, that things are going to be hopeful, that things are going to improve. If you feel like your romantic or your sex life or whatever has been off, or even just like your ability to go out with your friends and like really like do like pleasurable activities with friends, those there might be some issue around that for some reason, and this is saying that that's going to be resolved through like communication, I guess is what I see. I also there's yes, you guys, I think that this level of communication, openness to other people's perspectives is coming from a place of emotional maturity. You can't take things personally and be open to other people's perspectives. If you're taking all of it personally, if they think something different than you, then you're going to think that that's a slight or that's an attack. You guys are stepping up into new levels of emotional awareness, and that's helping you create this ability to communicate. It's also creating an inner sense of stability. I mean, of course, it could represent wealth, but what I'm feeling is that you guys are very emotionally and just energetically stabilized right now. And because of that, you're opening up to these new ideas, new perspectives, new communication, and you're able to possibly resolve old conflict, or new conflict, especially related to like sexuality and attractiveness and pleasure and things like that. It doesn't have to be just relationships. Could be friendships where you're having those conflicts. But regardless, I feel like you're coming at this from some kind of perspective shift that is coming from a really stable place, and people are sensing that. And I feel like you're able to let things go. Like normally when I see the death card, I'm like, oh, this is all the stuff like that you're moving on from. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing. But in terms of like baggage around communication, baggage around relationships of you not seeing someone's perspective, you're letting that go. You're letting it roll off your back. So even if you don't agree, you're maybe not like you can see their perspective, but you're maybe not agreeing, but you're just letting it go anyway, and it's like not a big deal. And I feel like you're being continuance. I feel like this is saying that your relationships are like continuing to grow and evolve, and they're being very protected at this time. So all of these processes that you're going through is here to protect the longevity of your relationships. With Venus in the 11th house, they want to thrive, they want to grow, and having this adaptable mindset is going to help them do that, and communication as well. Anyway, that's what I see for you guys, Sagittarius Rising. If it resonates, please like and comment down below. If you want to learn about astrology, I have an entire course in a membership, super cheap, super easy to join. That's in the description box below. I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, up next we have Capricorn Rising. So Capricorns, this full moon is happening in your second house, which is all about that money, honey. It's about finances, obviously, which is what I was just saying. It is also about like our self-worth, our self-esteem, developing our skill sets, which adds to our self-esteem. Just feeling more confident about who we are, what we have to offer the world. And it's opposing the sun in the 8th house. So having the sun move through your 8th house can be a period of time where you are reflecting about, or having clarity about maybe some more of your insecurities or ways in which you have held yourself back in the past. But with this full moon, it's like illuminating the things that you need to be confident, to believe in yourself, to know that you have what it takes to pursue something, to pursue whatever that thing is that you are desiring. And with the moon in the second house, conjunct Jupiter, I feel like this is saying that you are going to be presented with physical material possibilities now to act on, to act on pursuing, to manifest, essentially. So I feel like you're going to start to get results in some respect of things that you've been wanting to do. And with the sun, the 8th house, it's going to illuminate any other thing that's been making you feel like you can't have it. So you're going to have the opportunity to act on something that you've been wanting, is what I'm seeing here. I feel like it's releasing some of this. I feel like it's part of this is kind of releasing some of the striving or the needing to prove. Like, I got this 9 of Wands card, which says resilience. I feel like this is a lot of that, like, hustle culture. Like, go, 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 you got this. Like, you know, work really hard and putting pressure on yourself and having to show up your absolute best all the time, which is good. I mean, it's good to show up as your absolute best, but sometimes that pressure can be a lot. Or sometimes, like, you just feel like you're working really hard, and that resilience card is saying, like, you're not really getting anywhere. You're not getting to where you want to be. You're feeling satisfied with what you've done. And I feel like this is saying that fight to get ahead, that striving to get to a certain place that you've been trying so hard to do, is starting to ease up. And you're starting to get opportunities coming to you financially that feel like they are a blessing, that feel like they're giving you the opportunity to think about things in life in a lighter perspective. I got the card focus on the here and now. That's what I feel like you guys are able to finally start taking a step back. As a Capricorn, you guys are always planning, always thinking ahead. What's next? How do I work hard towards this goal? How do I push? How do I strive? And this to me is saying you guys are having financial abundance. You're having opportunities come in. Now it's time to enjoy those opportunities. Now it's time to take a little bit of a rest. Yes, that's why I pulled this card. A little bit of a rest. You guys have been working so hard. You've been doing so much. As a Capricorn, you always do so much. Now is a time to rest. But not just rest whenever. It's like rest when you know in your heart, in your intuition, that it's time to rest. And that's why I pulled the High Priestess card. I feel like this is saying that you are given these opportunities by the universe recently because they want you to tap into your intuition to know when it's time to pump the brakes a little bit. Because you don't have to keep going. Now you can use your intuition to know when you want to do it and when you don't, when you want to rest, when you want to chill. And a Capricorn, where they don't have a certain sense of security or resources or money in their life, they're going to go full throttle and they're going to be working super hard and ignore that intuition of rest and all that because they know that they need to reach a certain level to feel safe, to feel secure. That's fine. But recently, with this full moon and conjunct Jupiter in your 2nd house, I feel like you guys are actually given the finances so that you can have that sense of security, so you can start tapping into your intuition more to know, okay, now is my time to rest. Now is my time when I feel like I've done enough and I want to take a little bit of a break, and that's okay. And it might feel like a risk because I got the Fool card, which says take a leap. So either you're going to have a new opportunity to take a leap on, that's what that's saying, or the resting might feel like you're taking a risk. Because whenever we pull the Fool card, there's some sense of feeling like it's a risk, it's a new thing, it's a venture that you're about to go on. And so I think this card is saying to take the leap, to allow yourself to try that new thing or to rest or to whatever that risk feel like, whatever that thing is that feels like a risk, it's saying to do it. And once you have had enough rest, you'll know what that is. Or once you've had enough rest, you'll have the energy to take this leap. Or maybe the leap literally is taking rest. So there's something around rest and this that are linked. Okay. You guys have Mercury and Mars conjunct in Virgo in your 9th house, trining Uranus in your 5th house. Trust. Mercury and Mars, the 9th house and the 12th house, to me is a lot about trusting a higher power, trusting your inner knowing. Trusting your inner knowing. The 9th house, that's what that is. It's this inner truth, the compass that leads us. Having these planets, Mercury and Mars, in the 9th house is stimulating your inner compass and it's trining Uranus in the 5th house, which is telling you to follow your joy, follow your pleasure, follow your creativity. Trust that inner niggle, trust the compass telling you this thing is interesting. I want to do this thing. I want to date this person. I want to go here. I want to travel there. Trust that. Trust that thing that you want to do. Trust that trip you want to take, that thing you want to learn, that person you want to meet. You are being guided by your internal compass, by your, what is that thing when you're like on the lighthouse? You have an internal lighthouse, and it's just lighting up a certain path for you, and I feel like it's telling you to follow that. Yeah, so just make sure that you're listening to whatever that is. That I feel like that could be, there's some creative thing that could be saying to take the leap with that. Trust whatever is coming up for you. Take the leap with it. Trust it. It's there for a reason. Your inner guidance system is telling you yes for a reason. Okay. You guys also have Venus, or sorry, you also have Mercury opposing Neptune in your 3rd house. I think that this is probably where you're getting tripped up. You're going to have to trust your intuition with this one, because your mind is going to be like, well, logically that doesn't make sense because of blah, 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 blah. Like, logically I shouldn't do this. Or other people have told me that I shouldn't, or like facts say, and it's like, fuck the facts. What is your gut telling you? There's something you need to take a risk with. There's something you need to take a leap on. You need to trust that it's going to work out. And it's something that's going to feel exciting and passion-filled, but it's also going to be paired with anxiety. It's also going to be paired with feeling unsure and self-doubt. Wow, I feel like your message is coming through really clearly, really strongly today. So whoever is Capricorn out there, you guys are meant to hear this. I feel that very, very, very certain of that. Okay. Venus, okay, you guys also have Venus and Libra in the 10th house opposing Chiron in the 4th house. Interesting. I kind of feel like you guys are getting, with Venus in your 10th house, I feel like you're getting financial rewards. Again, full moon in the 2nd house conjunct Jupiter, Venus in the 10th house, financial rewards from career efforts. You're doing great. With the opposition with Chiron in the 4th house, I feel like this is you. I feel like there's some part of you like wanting some form of emotional stability, or like I feel like this is from childhood. I feel like there's something like ingrained messaging that either you feel like, and I feel like this is so super ingrained, you might not even identify with what I'm about to say, but there's some subconscious repressed things from childhood that can feel like it's holding you back from your pursuing your career full force, fully believing in yourself, or even allowing, or it could be totally different. It could be messaging around not allowing yourself to rest. Regardless, it's all about not trusting yourself, not trusting the universe, that if you take a rest, or if you pursue the thing that you want, that you won't succeed. So if I do the thing that I want to do, I'm not going to make it. Or if I rest, I'm not going to make it. It's like there's some programming here that is holding you back in your career, and it's not true. It's not true. And I feel like you guys have to realize that it's not true. There's something here where you guys, this agreement card. Yeah, I feel like you guys have made some like agreement with yourself, some contract with yourself that isn't true. And like you don't realize that you've been living under this like self contract, you know? That's why I pulled this card. I do think it's work oriented. It's got 24 up here, which is 6, which in the 6th house in astrology is work oriented. I just feel like there's something here that you're living under, some paradigm that's like false, and it's time to recognize that that's false. And I do believe that you're going to start recognizing it as you start gaining finances, and some stability in your finances. As you're starting to get things moving forward in your career, you're going to start realizing that you don't need to work you can adjust the way that you put effort into things. You can adjust your schedule. You don't have to work so hard all the time. You've put in the seeds, and those seeds will pay off long term. Your North Node is in the 6th house. This is your time to focus on work, but how are you doing the work? That's also something to focus on. How much time are you working? How efficient are you? Those are all things that you need to analyze. And I feel like this garden card, which says something lovely will grow out of this, is telling me that you've planted the seeds. It's already starting to grow. You can see she has a rose shining in her hand. You guys already have this potential. You already have something growing within you and growing without on the external as well. And it's like just knowing the right amount of effort and knowing also any old paradigms you're living under, like getting rid of all those things, because you already have what it takes. You already have it's already in your hands. It's already yours. It's already yours. It's already yours. Whatever it is you're looking for. And that's the thing, is like, I feel like you guys have been striving so hard for something, but it's already yours. Like, if you just can trust that it's just a matter of timing, it's just a matter of years needing to unfold, or months needing to unfold for things to fall into place. Like, you don't have to worry. You don't have to work so hard or think that you can't achieve something, because if you just trust that it's already yours, you will know that you're on that path, and that you just have to take one step each day. Put in consistent effort. And as a Capricorn, you are more than willing to do that. So I think really the biggest message here is to trust your intuition, follow it, take the leap, allow yourself to rest. There's a lot of messages, actually. And know that it's already yours. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys, Capricorn, Sun, and Rising. If this resonates, please like and comment down below. And if you're interested in learning about astrology so you can do everything I'm doing, then you might want to join the North Node Society. And that's my membership. It's linked in the description box below. And I hope to see you guys there. Bye. All right, up next we have Aquarius Rising and Sun. So for you guys, this moon is happening in your first house, and the sun is in your 7th house. Wow. The first card I pulled was an endings card. I feel that. And I feel like the 2 cards that came after that were what is ending. Having the sun and moon along the 1st and 7th axis is definitely stimulating your sense of self and in your relationships. It's having people come into your life that have you reflect about aspects of yourself, and or maybe push your buttons or try things, or basically it's just people acting as a mirror is what I'm trying to say. And I do think you're gonna have a lot of realizations about yourself through this mirror, because Jupiter is conjunct this moon in your 1st house, and Jupiter is our higher level of awareness. It's our higher mind. It's the mind that's mixing intellect with spiritual insight, combining it to this beautiful flavor of wisdom. And so I think you guys are gaining a lot of wisdom about yourself, and it's allowing you to create endings of either beliefs about yourself, beliefs about life, or just there's endings happening simultaneously. That I do think it's coming from your inner wisdom, though. It could be endings of relationships. So I don't mean to say that like so optimistically, endings of relationships, but I mean, that's also possible at this time, because full moons along the 7th and 1st house axis can bring endings. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but given that there's endings card and some other cards I pulled about taking yourself out on a date and being your own first priority, you might find that some of you are having endings of relationships at this time and needing to prioritize yourself. Regardless, I do think that you guys are having a lot of wisdom and understanding about yourself, and it's allowing you to feel like you can stop this feeling of loss and defensiveness in your life. The 5 of Cups and the 7 of Wands, to me, is ending these patterns in relationships, whether that's ending a toxic relationship and no longer having to deal with that, or you are just ending this pattern within yourself and how you approach relationships, where you might feel like you're not getting your needs met, or you've experienced painful losses and kind of situations in relationships that feel like they've been emotionally burdensome. And then also as part of yourself that's maybe more on the defense, that because of that loss has put up walls, or because of not getting your needs met, feels like you have to fight to get your needs met and is a little bit more combative in relationships. Or it can be this element of like not seeing eye to eye with someone that's ending. Yeah, I feel like it's more like fighting to get your needs met. With these combined, it's like an end to fighting to get your needs met, and those things just coming to you. And also because you're meeting your own needs. Like, you're not needing to look for that in a relationship. You're meeting your own needs with this. Take yourself out on a date and be your first priority. I feel like it's telling you that that's number one, is you growing, you taking care of yourself and your personal growth in this life. And then that pattern of trying to search for that in someone else is no longer there. You can have these really beautiful relationships that are a nice complement to you because you're already whole, you're already full within yourself, and you're already having so many realizations about yourself, through these mirrors of others. And I think that's why I pulled the She Who Questions card. Curiosity, destiny, and search. I feel like you're on a search for yourself right now. You're discovering new aspects of yourself. Maybe you've let go of some aspects of yourself from childhood till now, and you're rediscovering them, bringing them back in. Maybe you're discovering wisdom and talents from other lifetimes, but there is some sense of curiosity and exploration of the self that's happening that feels like it's really fulfilling and also really healing with this card. I feel like you're definitely healing, by accepting these other parts of yourself that maybe you haven't fully witnessed before. I also got another card, slow down and celebrate yourself. You guys have a lot coming in terms of like self-recognition, dating yourself, loving yourself, being your own first priority, celebrating yourself. A lot of this is all about you. So I think that this is a really self-focused time. I also think that this card says witch justice is coming. I also feel like you are starting to get some rewards for your past efforts, and it's kind of goes in line with focusing on the self. Like, I think it's going to help you grow part of who you are. Okay, so you guys have Mercury and Mars in Virgo in the 8th house, making a trine to Uranus in the 4th house. So, I think that this has something to do with this inquisitiveness, this curiosity. And I think it's you examining your emotional state and your specifically your any insecurities that can come from your emotions or how you process emotions or your emotional insecurities. Like, you're starting to examine those, you're starting to turn those over in your mind and realize that you can meet your own needs, that you can be really safe and secure, and that you don't need to project anything onto others, that you don't need to rely on others, that you're really self-sustained, you're really stable within yourself. You're healing a lot of these emotional patterns, you're having a lot of realizations about them, and so you're able to start a new chapter where you're no longer looking for these things in certain people, where you're no longer expecting to have to fight for your needs because you're meeting your own needs. And it's just this feeling of like healing a lot of relationship patterns and self patterns where you're able to kind of feel much more empowered in your own essence. You also have Mercury opposing Neptune in the 2nd house. So to me, this is saying that some of those insecurities can feel like they're disrupting your sense of security. That makes sense. Like, if you being curious can sometimes feel like it's disrupting this sense of peacefulness, a sense of calm, a sense of stability. And it's actually, you're supposed to go there. You're supposed to look at those things so that you can create true stability. But sometimes this opposition with Neptune is like, I don't really want to touch that. I want to feel like stable. I want to feel secure. I don't want to go into the recesses of my mind or into that drama in order to heal. But I think ultimately you are, because Venus is in the 9th house, and it's opposing Chiron in the 3rd house. So this to me is saying, like, I feel like you guys maybe are getting a little bit in your own head sometimes and like overthinking things about your path in life. And this is a separate message from what I was just saying a second ago. But I think that ultimately you guys are going to stop overthinking and start taking action because you're starting to prioritize yourself and creating that inner stability. I just feel like you guys are going to be this like really strong like core unit, and from that you're going to know that you can build anything. So you're going to start, I feel like it's going to help you like believe with this Venus in the 9th house. It's going to help you fully believe and invest in yourself. And with the North Node and Gemini in the 5th house, I feel like it's unlocking this kind of like creative vision that you have, these passions, these interests. You're going to be able to start following those with a sense of ease and confidence, and you're going to be able to start investing more in yourself because you're healing some of these things and you're relying more on yourself to do it. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys, Aquarius. I hope that resonates. Please like and comment down below if it does. Of course, if you have questions, let me know as well. If you're interested in learning about astrology, you can check out my membership, the North Node Society. You can learn all about your chart there and basically do what I'm doing. So it's in the description box below if you want to join. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye. All right, and last but not least, we have Pisces and Pisces Rising. So for you guys, this moon and this full moon in Aquarius is happening in your 12th house. Full moons in the 12th house, those can be kind of intense. It is paired with Jupiter, so I do feel like any intensity is going to be like on the back of an opportunity. Like you're receiving an opportunity that's going to feel good, that's going to feel expansive, but it can also feel kind of intense. So we'll see what the cards have to say. Nine of Pentacles. Wow, you guys. Okay. A lot of groups have been getting this abundance card, which I love. Ace of Cups. Wow. Maybe some new love or new emotional opportunity. It says rebirth. So I'm getting that this is an emotional rebirth for you. And I said love because after that I got the Lovers card. It doesn't have to be relationships, but it can be anything where your heart feels very invested and you're having this emotional rebirth occur where you're able to take the leap. Look. Take the leap into a new relationship, or take the leap into a new project, something that feels very exciting, and maybe has felt a little bit daunting in the past. I feel like having a moon in the 12th house is often about endings, but I think what this is saying is that you're actually not, you're ending the past. You're ending the past that maybe felt like this rebirth wasn't possible, if that makes sense. Like if you've had any like chronic beliefs or chronic patterns in the way that you show up or in the way that you communicate or in the way that you think or in the way that you relate to other people, that is what I feel like is ending. And because it's ending, you're able to step into this really like firm foundation because you've knocked off all the dead skin and now you're feeling very strong within yourself. You're feeling more sure of who you are and what you have to offer the world. And because of that, I think you're starting to attract these opportunities into your life that are gonna feel like a spiritual and soul rebirth. That's why I got the Ace of Cups. So again, this could be anything in your life, but I think for a lot of us, it's gonna be relationships here because of this Lovers card. But it could be, again, anything that you feel like you need to make a decision about. And whatever that decision is about, because that's what the Lovers card is like, should I do this? Should I do that? It's that duality of like, well, I just don't really know. And I feel like sometimes it's because of this stuff that you're ending from the past where you feel like if it were based off of past events, you might not want to. But since you're ending the past and it's truly a new cycle, you're not just repeating what happened before. It's telling you you should want to. You should take the leap. That's literally what it says. Take the leap. Don't expect the past to repeat itself. Expect a totally new beginning. Whatever opportunity, stability that you're moving towards is going to meet you there. You got the Nine of Pentacles. It is going to be something that you can put your feet on that is stable. You are stable, that's why you're attracting it, but also the thing that you're attracting is very stable. I actually feel like that more so than the first thing I said. Whatever you're attracting is long term. It has something really valuable, that it has a lot of potential for growth, a lot of potential to feel like if you looked back on it, if you said yes and then you looked back on it a few years later, you would be like, I can't believe I almost didn't do that. I almost didn't take that opportunity, because look how much that's grown. Look how much it's benefited me in my life. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this. And it's interesting because I feel like the 12th house is so much about endings. But again, I think it's more so about ending what you thought, ending what you think is going to keep happening. Like, it's not going to keep happening. This is a rebirth. This is a true ending and a true new beginning. And the continuance, I feel like this is saying the same thing as the Nine of Pentacles card. You can rely on this thing. This thing is going to continue. It might change and grow and evolve, but there is an essence to it that is constant, that is going to be there for you, that is going to support you, that you can put both legs on and trust that foundation is going to remain. It's not going to collapse and break out from under you, which I think a lot of Pisces have dealt with in the past. So I'm definitely getting the sense that you guys are being told to take some leap, whatever it is, that to let go of the past, allow it to stay in the past, and make a decision. Again, this is just repeating the cards that I just pulled. The duality card is that same thing as the Lovers. You're making a decision. You're in between the yes and the no, these two forks in the road, and it's telling you to say yes to the thing that feels exciting, to say yes to the thing that feels risky. Don't say no out of fear that the past is going to continue, because it's not. You guys also have Mercury conjunct Mars in Virgo in your 7th house, trining Uranus in your 3rd house. Again, I think this is why a lot of relationship stuff is coming up, because Mercury and Mars in the 7th house of relationships is being very stimulated. It's basically drawing your attention to that area of your life. You're thinking more about your relationships. And with a trine to Uranus in the 3rd house, these are positive changes in your relationships. These are positive, especially changes to the way that you communicate or the way that you think about relationships. It doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It's any relationships. I'm seeing a shift in the way that you think and communicate, and it's going to be healing for you. With Mercury's also opposing Neptune in your 1st house. So Mercury being in the 7th, opposing Neptune in the 1st, you guys might find that there is things that you need to communicate about, that like, I feel like you guys aren't clear about relationships right now. With Mercury in the 7th, opposing Neptune in the 1st, it's like, I think that's why I got so many duality cards. It's like, what do you want to decide? Do you want to decide to move forward with this relationship? Do you want to decide to speak differently to this person? There's some kind of decision that might involve another person. It doesn't have to be like dating somebody necessarily, but I think that whatever this decision is involving someone else in the way that you think or communicate with that person. And it's like, you're not sure, you're having a lack of clarity. And this is saying to take the leap, but I also feel like, because it's an opposition, and just basing this off of my astrology, not the tarot, just maybe wait until it's like early September before you fully decide. Even though this is saying that you can rely on this, you'll feel more certain early September when this opposition clears. Okay. You guys also have Venus in Libra in the 8th house, opposing Chiron in the 2nd house. I feel like this is coming up around your self-confidence. Like, you might lack a little bit of self-confidence, and that's kind of leading to this indecision, or leading to this feeling of like not wanting to be vulnerable. Is actually coming from a lack of self-confidence. And I think that's impacting this decision within your relationships, or your relationships in general, is like, you're not fully sure of yourself and in your life. And it's like, that is why you're scared to like open up any wounds about yourself to another person, or talk about things in a vulnerable way, or receive help, because it's like, well, you know, I don't feel like very steadfast in myself or my finances or whatever it is. So that, I feel like, is going to be healed, though. You're going to start releasing that because of this trine that's happening with Venus in the 8th, Saturn in the 12th, and the North Node Gemini in the 4th. You're meant to be processing a lot of these emotions, letting a lot of these emotions go, and realizing that vulnerability is powerful, is strength, and you have a strong sense of self and confidence enough to be able to do that. You don't have to be perfectly confident all the time to step up in that way, but you can take that risk, take that leap, and allow yourself to bare your heart to somebody in any kind of way, whether that's receiving help in vulnerability, or emotionally receiving help, like monetarily, whatever that is. Okay, let's look at some of these cards. So again, I'm seeing a focus on the self. Aquarius had this as well. Take yourself on a date, be your own first priority. I feel like this is saying that's how you can start showing up best in your relationships, because once you take care of yourself and really prioritize yourself, you can create that strong sense of self-confidence, and then from there you can be vulnerable. Then from there you can lean on others, because you know that you're already taking care of yourself. It's like it's working on your relationship with yourself at the end of the day. Then I got the card Think First Before You Judge. So this could sometimes come up in your decision making, I think, specifically. If you feel like you are indecisive, I feel like this is saying, don't just jump to any kind of conclusions about what's going on. Whatever decision you have to make, just take some time. think about it. Don't jump the gun. And then lastly, I pulled the 2 cards, remorse, guilt, and forgiveness. So you may have to forgive yourself. You may have to forgive your parents. You may have to forgive old girlfriends, old boyfriends. There is some aspect here of holding on to emotional baggage from other people that needs to be released, that needs to be let go, or this is baggage that you hold against yourself. So there needs to be some type of forgiveness to take this leap forward. The ending that needs to happen is to forgive the pain that you've had in the past cycle, forgive the universe, forgive whoever caused that, and know that that's going to end with that forgiveness. That cycle is going to end and it's not going to repeat itself, and you don't have to worry. After you do that, I feel like you're going to step into this Nine of Pentacles, this really constant energy, this really consistent, stable thing that's going to grow over time. I got the card, She Who Remains, Powerful Devotion, True Worth. You're going to not only grow your inner sense of self-worth, but you're also going to attract either a person or an event or an experience that is going to be very stable, that is going to remain. So both of these things are not only from within you and your confidence, but an external thing. And both of those things are going to be remaining constant, and there's going to be some sense of devotion to this. So this feels really powerful. I feel like also having that constant thing, that steadfast thing, is going to also help build your confidence and make you feel steadfast from within as well. So it's like feeding into each other. That's what I see for you guys, Pisces and Pisces Rising. If it resonates, please like and comment down below. If you want to learn about astrology, check out the North Node Society, link in the description box below. And I hope you have a beautiful full moon. Bye.